Help support the Truth Cartel. Support in the moment. Super Chats. Support monthly through Patreon. Support with music. Support with merch. Click the links in the description.
One day Jesus coming back real soon. Take a look what my Jesus been through. He died for mankind, although we been cruel. Got a chance to repent, won't let it slip through. I got a dog out for Jesus like I'm his sister. When we preaching the gospel, we preach it true. Trying to give it to an atheist, a Muslim, or a Jew, yeah. Gotta give the Lord's word and give it right, cause he's coming back one day like a thief in the night. Be ready, so hold on to God and keep your faith steady.
Yeah, Marla, this Duma made another one. I call this one an EOX's. Red rose, white ceiling. These EOs out here just keep sinning. Packed up and left, we ain't kidding. All of it dedicated to hurt feelings. Drama brewed up like a toddler's tantrum. You down with the TC, now I can't stand them. When it came to doctrine or prize traditions, didn't matter what we believe. We ain't Christians, so y'all popping just to yawn and say, I just woke up. Yeah, we saw that all day, that woke line spent. Don't worry about it though, you may have time to repent, and even more time to grow. Yeah. Don't wanna talk doctrine, I just woke up. We can pray but you ain't saved, man. I just woke up. You can't even talk to Marla, I just woke up. Wait, did you just call me modalist? I just woke up. You can't ban me because I quit. You can't ban me because I quit. You ain't EO, you ain't EO, you ain't EO. I quit. I quit. Red rose faded, white ceiling caving. These boys claiming enlightenment with no priest in sight. It's just a lack of permission because their tradition ain't right. Bro, just whine in silence cause that's all you can do. When you cross the TC, you end up crossing the whole crew. Tradition states that we can't pray together or sing one song. Can't even say amens if the vibe feels wrong.
Hey, yo, Mullah, this Duma made another one. Red rose, white ceiling. That's cool. I ain't gonna like this. Yeah. They call it a corner meal. Everybody mad. Yeah. I said a corner meal. Everybody mad. Yeah. Same old yo from the block. They say they in the heart, but they not. They saying that my circle just a die. Everybody hated on him, then he came back with a problem. I done spent a whole lot of time with the Father. Doubling my prayers cause my church ain't making sense. I've been in my parents playing with the incense. When they all fell off the boat, yeah, I'm talking about the fence. I know it's a whole lot of folks that was hating. I know it's a whole lot of comforts I was faking. So I shut them folks up, icons feeling us. Always knew that I was gifted, so I had to stay patient. Taking overland, brother, tell me what's the bid. I heard you still solo, tell me what it is. You ain't keep the fast, buying no books, reading no saints, they ain't let a brother live. All I see is visual lights, candles, hundreds. If it ain't full theosis, but the vibe, I don't want it. About to make these folks sick. They call it a corner meal. Everybody mad. I said a corner meal. Everybody mad. Yeah. Same old EO from the block. They say they in the heart, but they not. They say they in my circle just die. Everybody they
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Which ain't hard to do. Can you hear me?
Fast life JC, I'ma live it up. And my ex-girl tryna make me jealous, saying that I'm moving worse. She don't know she out the church. I got me a deal, but I'm still in the name. Heard a couple folks talking like the guy boss. They forgot the Jesus prayer with the Skinny on the side. Man, I swear that these folks are so
Alright, y'all.
I got all this grace from the church.
Be real honest and straightforward tonight.
I can't see the time.
Some of you guys ain't gonna like it. Let the Holy Spirit move.
Super extra when the forces off the line. All I know is grease, slide, A-Rap. That's all I know, keep it 109. EO from the dark, can't better pay the tab. Mother call me back. Left tradition feeling sad. Call me meal. Everybody mad. I said I call me.
Uh-oh, are we live? We must be live. Another sunny day in California, as I got my ice cubes in my Truth Cartel mug. By the way, go order one of these online. Click the links in the description, shall we? Let's get it cracking, because we live. A new day, and dare I say, we're coming up on a new dawn and a new era as we're celebrating the 250th America Jack birthday coming up this weekend. But tonight, we're doing an epic review of an epic live where I'm going to have to be epically... Am I using too much epics? Well, all these doomers always going, epic, everything's epic. But we're going to be doing a review tonight on Wood Wilson, where I absolutely confirmed that both of them work for Israel and Russia and Israel. You know what? I have all of the background, but some of you Christians are not going to like this, but it's okay. It's the Cartel of Truth, and I am your host, the Mauler, the unapologetic apologist, the unequivocating evangelist, the poignant pundit, the uncancelable conservative. And why can't I be canceled? Well, because in the end, if you try to cancel me, that'd make you just a racist. Because if I'm so dumb and you're so smart, just prove it. Pull up and tell this dumb Mexican, give him a piece of your mind. There's the link. So if you disagree with me at any point, pull up and let's have a conversation, and we can do it. You don't have to go around, acting like a baby and start cussing people out and calling everybody low tier. Oh, you're so low tier. Oh, I'm going to declare something today about this whole term low tier. If you're saying low tier, and still in this day and age, after, one Jay Dyer pretty much, abused it. If you're saying low tier, then you're probably low tier. So there we have it. Let me go ahead and make sure that I got this clicked. By the way, hit the like and share now so that we can actually have this going into the algorithm. Let's get it. We will get it. Before we start, though, I really, really want to make some announcements, and I want to be very, very clear as to where we're going next. And this is being laid out in front of all of the Christians, all of the people that back, let's say, support the Truth Cartel or me, whether you like me or not. This might be something you can get behind. And all of this, I promise you, is going to make sense. It's going to push us toward what I've been saying from the very beginning, that whether you're a seasoned YouTuber, whether you're a person who is starting in the faith, or you're an agnostic, you're skeptical, we all must ask ourselves essential questions of the faith. And so the Truth Cartel is going to embark and kick off officially tomorrow. I'm announcing it now. Tomorrow is going to be the premiere of Full Armor. And I don't know what's going to happen next after this. And I know everybody's always like, oh, why you got to be so negative? Why you got to say that? What I'm saying is, I don't know what the Lord is going to do. Is the Lord going to bless it? This requires time, resources. And what I'm simply saying is that, how should I put this? I think that God can work through this and get people behind us to support the essentials. And what Full Armor is going to do is going to lay out the case as to what the Christian faith is all about, and establish fundamentals and essentials that ironically is going to tie into our review today. There's a lot of criticism going back and forth between EOs, Protestants, evangelicals, and there's enough to go around. But all I'm going to say is today is I'm going to call a ball and a strike. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything or pretend that somebody's got my ear and that I have to act like, oh, I can't be mean to him. Why not? Because he might not like me. That's not how this works. It's never worked that way. It's not going to work that way today. Okay, if you're wrong, if you're, possibly in pride, if you're saying stupid things, like sometimes Andrew Wilson does, he just lies about historical facts, right? Or maybe he's ignorant. I'm just going to say it. That's just not true. But I say all that to say this. The essentials are so important that I think this is going to be something you guys can get behind. So whether you agree with me on all the issues, you're a Protestant, you're a Reformed person, I think we can all come together and support something. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, if you're looking at the top of the screen, it's showing the Discord, but it's also showing the Cash App. Right now, we're not partnered with YouTube. So what that means in the end, sorry, let me get rid of this background. What that means in the end is that means that we're limited on how we can kind of spread ourselves out until YouTube kind of approves us and gets us going with this new channel. We have to be creative. So in order for us to make these lessons or this course extend and keep going, I'm placing it in the hands of the Lord to say he's going to provide, but also I'm calling on Christians to go ahead and step forward and put your best foot forward to support. And we can do this on an episode or a lesson or a module basis. So here's what I'm going to go ahead and do is tomorrow we're going to be playing lesson 1. I'm going to debut it. Its runtime is about 20 minutes. So these lessons are going to be in between 20 and 30 minutes. And I'm excited to show it to you. I'm excited for others to be excited about it. But after this, it's up to Christians. It's up to you guys to either pour in and think that this is something that we can do or not do. Let me fix my screen here. And in a second, it looks like we have somebody in the back, so I'll pull them up. Let me go ahead and play the quote-unquote trailer, commercial, whatever you want to call it. And let's get into it. Let me make sure my sound settings are correct because you guys are going to tell me, Moeller, your sound. And then, okay, let me make sure instant. All right, let's play this. And this is the trailer, which I played the other day. But this is for tomorrow's debut. And by the way, tomorrow we got a big live too. And it actually talks about Andrew Wilson because apparently we don't know who he's actually working for. Maybe we can figure it out tonight though. We might. Here's a trailer. This has been in the works for years. Mahler here. I want to welcome you to Full Armor. I'll be your guide through this multi-series Christian training program. Training up men of God with the foundation and essentials of the Christian faith. Our first series begins and centers around one of the most important questions in human history. Who is Jesus? Consisting of multiple lessons that build from Genesis to the New Testament. For over 2,000 years, kings, scholars, atheists, scientists, philosophers, and ordinary people have wrestled with that question. Some have called him a prophet, others a teacher. Some say he never existed. Others claim he changed the world forever. But who is he, really? And perhaps an even bigger question, why did he come? If you've ever wondered, what is Christianity? What is the gospel? Why did Jesus die? Can I trust the Bible? How can I know God? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Full Armor Essentials. This isn't just another Bible study. This is a journey through the greatest story ever told. One lesson at a time, one question at a time, building your faith from the ground up. Because before we can defend Christianity, we must first understand Christianity. So whether you're a brand new believer, someone exploring the Christian faith, or a mature Christian who wants a stronger foundation, this course was built for you. Our goal isn't simply to fill your mind with information. It's to help you know Christ, love Christ, and faithfully proclaim Christ. Oh, and we can't forget, Kensington is riding shotgun.
Ready when you are, Moeller.
Okay, Kensington, upgraded, huh? So grab your Bible, open your heart, and let's begin. All right, chat. There we go. So tomorrow night will be the debut of the premiere of episode 1. And after that, guess what, chat? You're never going to guess. We're trying to figure out who's working for who. It's like the Spider-Man, right? You're a shield for Israel. You work for Russia. And that's what we're going to find out tonight. Who works for Russia and Israel, right? That's the big topic. And I told you, that's what's eventually going to happen with the EO theology / political package. They're going to try to lob insults over towards the Protestants, going like, oh, you guys are Israel lovers. And then, they do all the classic moves. So all of that to say this, it turns out, if you haven't heard, that maybe, just maybe, and I think it's more likely, is there's gonna be quite a few ortho bros that are gonna be very, very upset. Why? Chat, why do you think the ortho bros are gonna be upset? Well, it turns out that somebody's been training. Somebody has been training a certain group that would probably be called maybe Zionist sympathetic. So tomorrow, we're going to explore how Andrew Wilson is now a part of the Israel agenda. I don't know, chat. We're going to find out. So tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do the lesson 1, and then I'll post it. It'll be a video live so you guys can watch it yourself and share. And after that, we'll jump into the Israel agenda with one Andrew Wilson, who's now training up a very, very pro-Israel organization, TPUSA, where he was told to go over there and teach my guys how to debate like you. And so what can we conclude? This guy's working for the Protestant Zionist enemy? I don't know, chat. Chat, do you guys find this interesting? That this guy this whole time has a certain criteria, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. My biggest problem with people who are in this movement is they have this attitude. They have this criterion. They have this idea of how you present and gather evidence, and that anybody can make any argument. It's time for us as Christians, it's time for people that are watching this type of content to not just allow people to go, anybody can make an argument. Anybody can make an argument. The question is whether it's a good argument. That's the question. So we have to start raising the bar. When people are being inconsistent and lying about, let's say their sources, their beliefs, we got to call them out. And that's what we're going to do today. All right. So there seems to be somebody in the back who's been patient. I don't know if this person has, hold on one second. All right. Let's see who's in the back here. What's up? Is this Ben? What's going on, Ben?
Oh yeah, hey, what's up, man? I just came in real quick. Did you watch the live, or is this gonna be your first time watching?
No, I watched probably 45 minutes to an hour yesterday. What were your thoughts on it? Oh, hey, hold up, give me 1 second. All right, there you are. Go ahead, Ben.
Honestly, I thought after the first 20 to 30 minutes, after the Wood presented, his sources and stuff. I'm hearing people saying he's just trolling. Look, maybe he was, but after that, I thought it was a pretty bad shellacking, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, maybe he was trolling. By Wilson?
Yeah, by Wilson. Yeah, I think the Tropic Thunder. Robert Downey Jr. phrase would apply here. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say the words. No. Yeah. I can't say the word, obviously. You know what I'm saying? You never go full. You know what? Man.
Yeah. Okay. Full conspiracy. How about we say that? We never go full conspiracy. Yeah. Okay. You
can have fun with it. You can say you're trolling, but I think it crosses a threshold where you just start to look like an ignoramus at some point. If you watch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Did you watch my take before this particular conversation, my last live, where I gave a breakdown of how two things can be true? In other words, it doesn't have to be a full-on direct Cash App conspiracy from the KGB or the Kremlin or whatever, Putin. It just has to link up that worldviews can align, and you could be sympathetic towards the Eastern view, which we know is going to be the pinnacle of Eastern Orthodoxy, at least in principle, tied to politics, is going to be Mother Russia. Those days. So just because people align, let's say theologically or through tradition, they can also align politically because of, they're sympathetic, or historically they think this is the better government, the better worldview, and blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't mean that, hey, Putin's cash apping me. That, those two things don't have to be true. So if he was trolling, I hadn't heard this, Ben. And I remember you're still looking into EO, right? You're the Ben I've spoken to before, right?
I'm currently not going to Divine Liturgy or anything right now. I'm kind of in between state.
Yeah, well, my point is you were leaning that way. I'm not bringing it up to knock you. I'm simply saying is how you and I can agree on something, right? Is if he was really trolling, and I haven't spoken to David Wood about it. I know JP was on the latter part of the stream last night. I think I gave my opinions to some brothers behind the scenes, and if he was really trolling, then that's news to me.
Well,
I don't think he was.
Yeah, so it's one of two things. What I'm seeing is people saying, like on that side of it, is that he was just trolling. He was just kind of trying to show the absurdity of if you have a lack of evidence, you shouldn't come to certain conclusions, and that was kind of what they were saying he was doing, which I think is still bad. Or he was or he actually believes what he's saying, and I think that'd be even worse because it was a shellacking. It really, once he got past presenting it, it was just a snowball effect of secondhand embarrassment. To be honest with you.
Yeah, and we're gonna watch it today, so I don't want to react beforehand. And you notice how Ben is. I don't necessarily disagree with some things, but I want you to be honest with my assessment. If you stay around to watch a little bit, be honest with my assessment. You tell me what I'm doing. Remember, it's called the Truth Cartel, bro. Like I'm not paid by anybody. I don't make money. So as you can see, you can't even give me a super chat. So, but hey, I love the support. That'd be great, but I don't work for nobody. So if David Wood is blowing smoke, I'm gonna call it. If Andrew Wilson is just, doing some of the Andrew Wilson moves that he does, then I'm gonna call it too. So it is what it is, bro. That's the beauty of in my world. My world is not ruled by other people's opinions and whether I can partner with them or any of that crap. It doesn't move me.
I will say this: Andrew Wilson did misspeak. You'll see it here. I don't. Maybe I won't. It has to do with roll core in Moscow.
Yeah, no, I know. I already saw. That's the part that I watched. So that he's just full of crap or he's ignorant. I happen to think that he just made his case he doesn't know he doesn't know the structure, but that's neither here nor there. So let's not give the whole plot away, Ben. But I appreciate you pulling up, bro. And
right, I'll come on later, man.
Yeah, if you want to come on after, I'm going to open it up and we can do it then. But I appreciate you pulling up early. All right, my brother. There goes Ben. Appreciate you. All right, y'all. Let's get into it. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm forwarding quite a bit through because I'm not saying that it's pointless, but David Wood made his case and presented some evidence. But I'll say this, if you really want sort of his perspective, because I don't think he was joking. If people were saying he's trolling, he might have been trolling by saying, hey, I'm using Jay Dyer's standard of evidence. In other words, logical entailment. If I can link this with such a weak sort of minimal amount of evidence, then I can make any sort of leap. If that's what his whole point was, then you'd have to go watch the video that actually he put out that got this meeting to happen. And so if this is a whole troll job, then if I was, advising David Wood and he doesn't take advice from me, I would have told him, yeah, you're nuts, bro. There's no sense in you having this conversation with anybody, especially somebody like Andrew Wilson, because, and let me just tell you the video I'm talking about. You can go to YouTube or you can go to X right now. This is it right here. So this laid out, why does it keep doing that? This laid out the case. And if you think that he's literally trolling, he don't believe that there's a connection between Eastern Orthodoxy and the Russian government and the Moscow Patriarchate, and there's some kind of collusion or corruption happening, and you think that David Wood's I was just trolling to show that I can link anything to anybody? Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not buying that. You can buy it if you want, but I'm not buying it. All right, so let's get into the review. I'm actually going to forward quite a bit into this, probably close to an hour. So if you want to go watch it, in full, you can. And this is where David Wood spent about 20, 30 minutes laying out. I thought he laid out a better case in that video that I just showed you on Twitter as to why he believes there's a connection. But let's go ahead and pick up here as it starts to get testy about the claim. Remember, the claim is who's running the Ortho Bros. David Wood is saying that Russia, the Moscow Patriarchate, and the government has a hand as to why the Ortho Bros have come out of nowhere and have been so aggressive. And Andrew Wilson makes some claims here that I'll address. Hopefully I catch them here that are they're not accurate. Not about the church, not about the Ortho Bro movement. So he's just off on his facts. But we're going to let this play, chat. And you guys have to sit here and be Christians about it and watch and give an honest critique as to who did what well and where there can be some corrections and things to think about.
You don't have a problem with America. I'm asking you. I don't watch you guys.
Then why would you make the claim, David?
Because it's not it's not based on that. It's based on what Russia is looking for and you guys doing it.
Russia would have people here as a destabilizing force.
Right. That's what it's based on. That's what it's based on. You guys aren't a destabilizing force?
That would require for us to have anti-American positions and want to move the country towards anti-American positions, which are...
You guys aren't destabilizing influence?
Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. Andrew Wilson is pushing Eastern Orthodoxy, sure, but he also, we know he's sympathetic towards, you know, certain philosophers. I forget what the guy's is it Dugin or what's that guy's name? They push political theories, which pushes a sort of monarchist view of the government, of having, you know, something that was back in the mother Russia days. So if you say anti-American, it depends on what you mean. But right now, he's formulating arguments, and I know he's formulating them because he had a conversation with Kelly Powers where he sort of rolled out his new idea that Protestants are bad because the Protestant movement led to, you know, John Locke, Montesquieu, all these others that talk about forms of government, individualism, individual rights. You know, as we talked about before, God duties, then rights, right? Because our duty is to the Lord, to love the Lord, our God, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. That's what we do as Christians. And therefore, we are gifted with rights under that authority. So what he does is he attacks and says, yeah, let's rewrite this and let's reformulate it. So in that sense, it's anti-American. But for David Wood to have gone down this path and actually argued with him, you know, this dude, Andrew Wilson, would have turned it around and tried to make it something else and say, well, that's not actually anti-American. It is. If somebody says, hey, we don't like the founders, we know they were all pretty much Protestants, they all believed in Christ, they got their ideas from other Protestants a couple hundred years before that, and those sprouted from, you know, the Reformation, and therefore in there is the Enlightenment, the advancement of science, you know, philosophy and all this. If they wrap that up and they start to criticize it, then I would say it's anti-American. But of course, Andrew Wilson's going to be able to slick out and say, well, it's not completely anti-American. We don't want a monarchy like the monarchy of blah. So this is why this sort of topic, you know, is either it's not in David Wood's wheelhouse, so he kind of just ignored it. But he's the one that made the claim that they're just disrupting. But are they disrupting because Putin's telling them to disrupt? Or are they disrupting because EO good, Protestant bad? And I think most of it's just fueled off of that. Got a bunch of ortho bros here trying to pull up and dunk on people because they think they got a superior tradition. It's not because they're thinking, oh, Mother Russia the whole time. That's all.
I'm saying that's what it's based on. Let me say it differently. 1990s. I'm not sure I ever heard.
David,
hang on.
are you retarded, bro?
Yes,
I'm
I
like,
am.
actually, are you retarded?
I'm
listen closely to what I'm asking you. If there's a destabilizing force here of orthodoxy and orthodox leadership, which want to destabilize and destroy America, they would be moving us towards anti-American positions, just like the communists did throughout the 60s and the 50s. What are those anti-American positions that we hold, David?
All right. So real quick, is the desire for a monarchy, even a quasi, whatever you want to do, right? However you want to formulate it, the church being the authority or the main church being the main religion of the actual country, and above that is going to be the king, and that king even can operate through, let's say, a parliament, whatever it is. When you say monarchy in America, chat, I'm asking you a question. Is that pro-America or anti-American? I'd like to know. Monarchy, is it pro-America or anti-American from your standpoint? We're coming up on 250 years. We don't have any kings. So you tell me, chat, is that pro or anti? We got a layman from the South. He's an American. It's anti. Bro, this is a democratic republic. It's a republic, bro. What are you talking about democracy, bro? Your church runs on democracy. You not know this? You're EO, right? You don't know this? Majority rules in your church, buddy. That's what reception theory is. No King Georges. This is pretty simple, fellas. Pretty simple. So the question is whether you guys are going to start clicking on Andrew Wilson videos and hearing his solution to the new formulation of government that he wants to propose. And if he's just like, no, it's just a pipe dream, I just do it to get a rise out of people. Okay, well then that's your problem. If you're pro monarchy, however you position it, that is by definition against the current system. And that's because you think that the current American system sucks and it's beyond resolution and it's no good. It's trash. That would be anti-American. That's it. So in general, that would have been my argument. I'd pull up his belief. Do you believe this? Yes. Is that pro-America or anti-American? And go from there. But Wood is trying to get to this point where to try to get Andrew Wilson to concede anything is ridiculous. Because Andrew Wilson's of the mind is, if you tell me the sky is blue and you either give me the opportunity for the clicks or let's say some cash, I'm going to tell you it's red. And I'll argue till I'm blue in the face that it's red. Do you see what's happening here, chat?
Oh, yeah. Constantly blasting Protestants and Orthodox. And Catholics.
Oh, my God. Are you sure? Like religious debates? That's the anti-American position?
No. You've always had religious debates. Your guys' religious debates.
Ask Andrew Wilson how the liberal agenda is anti-American. Oh, political debates? Political debates? Hit him back with the same dang question, bro. How is it that you're fighting the liberal agenda? Through debates? Yes. Are you slow, bro? The thing that you do all day, having political debates? Yes, religious debates. This is how you move the agenda. Through debate. So therefore, if you have a religious agenda, you push that agenda, and now we know, according to him, they've all built a coalition. We have a coalition now. We're gonna build a religious and a political agenda. And what we have is we have a bunch of brainless dudes that don't ask questions, that'll follow along. Some guy who just goes around going, "That's low tier, low tier." Can you believe this? He's actually arguing against his whole existence. Yes, bro, through debate.
For 20 some years as a Christian, no one in the Orthodox Church ever said, "Hey, I need to accept the one true church," and so on. Now I hear it 50 times a day. Something happened, and it was all over the past 4 years.
How
right
in the
since
world
the
would
Russian
that
war
be
started.
anti-American? How is that anti-American? You have the Establishment Clause. It allows us to have those debates.
Yeah, you can have
literally
those debates.
inside of the con.
You see how he moved the goalposts? It's not about it being un-American. It's through debate, you're trying to change the agenda. Now, if you're going to admit that you politically have no stake at all, you're going around saying Eastern Orthodoxy has nothing to do with politics. But we know, and we found out because, he puts out his real position that that's not true. That there is a political agenda tied to this, and it's Protestant evangelicals dumb. Protestant, the Reformation caused all the problems, and here comes Eastern Orthodoxy with real Christianity to fix it, like Mother Russia. That's his agenda. So if those things didn't exist and we didn't know it, because that's the other thing is, I'll just say in David Wood's theory, there's a crack in his theory. If Putin were really trying to hire somebody to move the needle or the agenda, I don't think that they would hire somebody like Andrew Wilson. The dude steps in it all the time, gives away his actual plans, is actually for hire, because we're going to find out tomorrow's live. He's actually working for who, chat? Go ahead, chat. Tell me who he's working for. Apparently TPUSA. And what are they? Sympathetic to who? Come on, chat. Let's put 2 and 2 together. Come on. This ain't hard. So my point is, they wouldn't hire somebody like Jay Dyer and Andrew Wilson. Okay? Oh, that would be low tier. That's what that would be. That's my point. So that's where I think that this theory doesn't have legs. Now, however, have they picked up And if they gone together and said, you're EO, I'm EO. I'm thinking about going EO. You destroyed me in a debate. You know what? I'm EO now. So how else can we get together? Oh, let's get together and then we'll claim that EO has all of the solutions, including when Mother Russia was in its heyday, its glory days, and Putin's trying to bring it back. Let's go ahead and start pushing that. Let's push that through debate. Is this like, what are we talking about here? Why is Andrew Wilson acting dumb? Like he doesn't know.
Constitution, the idea was that each state initially could have their own religion. The Catholics had their own state religion, dude. They had their own state with their own Catholic religion.
Right. And now you're trying to take over all 50 states with your view, your religion. That's all his point is. Is that bringing unity together? When you say, oh, you're a Christian, I'm a Christian. No, it's not. If you come in and say, well, you're going to hell because you're not a part of the one true church and your Protestant movement and your government, it's all trash, it's garbage, and we have the solution through EO. That's what's happening. Chat, is this difficult? Why is he pretending like he doesn't know his own agenda?
Religion in it. How is this anti-American at all?
Do you think that's what's going on?
What?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Protestantism, bad, no foundation. One true church. Everyone's got to follow the one true church, or you're wrong. You can't be going and doing anything else. You have to just be debating the one true church. Everyone has to be in shambles about their church. You can't.
Are Mormons anti-American, or Jehovah's Witnesses? Are they anti-American?
That's not what we're talking about, man.
Yeah, answer the question. Are Mormons anti-American?
Not what we're talking about, dude.
What makes them not anti-American? I don't get it.
If they were part of what Russia was calling for, and then were sent to cause as much division as possible in the United States, then yes.
The thing you haven't demonstrated that any of these people have any affiliation with Russia whatsoever, and you can't name a single anti-American position they even hold. Because
Wait,
you know
Jay
what's really funny
Jay
here?
on RT.
Jay on RT. Great.
Okay.
Yeah. Andrew.
And this is where you got to just give it to Andrew Wilson that he's just literally a bullcrap artist, because right now he's like, yeah, so what? Jay Dyer on RT. So imagine if you had a bunch of clips of this dude, David Wood, on state-funded Israeli TV, or his buddy, what's his apostate prophet, appearing on the TV on the state-run or Israeli state TV. It would be over. Case closed. But now Jay Dyer being on there, what does that do? That doesn't do anything. Well, it certainly is not anything that you should ignore. Like, did you guys know that Jay Dyer was a guest a few times on RT, the Russian state media channel? I mean, does that mean nothing? I think it means something. Why is this guy pretending like it means nothing? What's wrong with him? Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys are aware, but like and share this video because there's people that we have in the Discord, and this is both in Andrew Wilson's Discord and not just Discord, but in their little camp. And what they've been told lately is to, unless the person is on, like Andrew Wilson or others, they've been told not to click or pull up to any of the lives where people are discussing Eastern Orthodoxy. So they figured out, if you ignore them, they'll go away. Interesting.
On CNN, must be a progressive then. Must be a progressive.
Russian state television, RT, the same one that was funding the Western influencers.
Would you go debate on Al Jazeera against a Muslim?
What was Jay arguing on?
Would you go debate on Al Jazeera against a Muslim?
Oh, sure. Is that what?
Okay, great. Oh, great.
Is that what Jay was doing there? Was that what Jay was doing on there? He was debating.
Was Jay debating somebody on RT? I wasn't aware. Is RT doing full debates now? What is this? Does he do debates on RT? This is news to me.
Someone?
He was probably giving his political positions.
Oh, wow. Why the hell would RT care about one Jay Dyer's political positions? Isn't he like what is he? Isn't he supposed to be an apologist or whatever? Why would they care? So David Wood's onto something, right? I mean, it's just a question. Remember, if David Wood is putting up a standard of evidence, everybody was called a grifter, everybody was called false and fake because they can't do certain things or they're associating with certain people or they don't come outside. So then here's the standard. But Andrew Wilson, no, damn the evidence. Forget the evidence that would work in my favor 7, every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Just forget that. And let's just pretend, you got a weak case here. No, there's a difference between a strong case, a weak case, and no case at all. This dude Wilson is pretending that David Wood is just stupid for asking a question. Why would RT be concerned with some dude, Jay Dyer, who's not really apparently in Russia like that? Why would they care?
Which ones of those political positions, or which ones of those positions are anti-American that he gave on RT? Can you give me one?
Let's see. The shows were Evangelicals and Zionism.
Yeah.
The Anti-Semitism Trick. So that was the second show. So the first show was Evangelicals and Zionism.
Yeah.
Did you hear it, chat? Wow. Chat, did you hear it? The first show that Jay Dyer did was Evangelicals and Zionism. How did Mahler know that this was coming down the pike? How did he know that this was going to become a debate about Israel? How? I don't know, because maybe I knew the political agenda and the the coalition that Andrew Wilson was putting together, and he was going to take over the Christian nationalist position. He was going to have his own little Jay Dyer guy, and then they're going to put in their own little their EO Nicofuentes. They're going to have him in there, and they're going to reach out to people. Hey, let's go ahead and let's be together on political issues. Yeah, it wasn't easy to figure out, bro. Like, if you guys just want the playbook of what these dudes are doing, and by the way, there's people in the chat right now that are a lot smarter and know more about this stuff, and they'll pull up and they'll just tell me, how did you figure this out? And I'll be like, bro, I'm not a genius. And they're like, I know, but most people don't get this stuff. But it's because most people don't deal with, rats, snakes, liars, manipulators, people who just think that they can run game on people and that I'm not figuring it out. You got the wrong dude, bro. Okay, I can see your manipulation tactic. And apparently, according to Andrew Wilson, all of his criterion, his level, his evaluation of evidence is out the window now. Because now the guy can pull up, go against evangelicals, and now that has nothing to do with the overall political or religious agenda that David Wood is tying this to. Nothing at all. I'm not saying it proves that Putin is paying him, but does it prove anything?
That sounds exactly like your buddy Dugan there. We got Muslims and Orthodox on one side, evangelicals and Zionism on the other. Then we got the anti-Semitism trick.
Wait, hang on.
And then orthodoxy and the state.
This is an association fallacy again. This is crazy.
Wait, what? An association fallacy? What? Wait, what? You think that you pull up to a courtroom and you're presenting a case and somebody stands up and says, objection, this has no relevancy, when the guy that you're accusing of being at least a sympathizer is appearing on their state-run media, and you're going to get up and you're going to go, this is an association fallacy, Your Honor. This can't be real.
So, do you agree with me that there's lots and lots and lots of atheists right now who aren't very happy with Zionists?
Yeah, sure.
By the way, one of the big tells, because I know Andrew Wilson watches these videos, is when he does the laugh thing, that's a lie. So when he's laughing, he's actually not laughing at what you're saying. He's trying to draw away and just show how silly it is. Because you don't need to laugh. You can just easily destroy the position. There's no need to laugh at a political philosopher in Dugan who does agree and see the world very similarly to Jay Dyer from what I understand. So for him to laugh when he does that, it's just a rhetoric. It's just a tactic. This is what people do when they're having a conversation and can't go, yeah, that's stupid. He went on Russian television to actually talk about something that's totally disconnected from dunking on or disrupting evangelicals or making them look stupid and promoting, let's say, a form of government through Eastern Orthodoxy. He could just say, yeah, I watched all that information, that evidence. It's not evidence. He went on there to discuss something completely off, topic that we're discussing today. He doesn't. He just starts laughing. How can you put that together? Mind you, remember, this is the same group that said because God Logic wouldn't debate the one true church, he's a grifter. David Wood's a grifter. They're all grifters. They're all lying. They really don't care about souls and Christianity. They're just a bunch of grifters and a bunch of rats. And all they needed to know that is the desire, lack thereof, to debate them on the debate me, bro, on the dot, like on the mark, like, hey, tomorrow debate me, bro. And because they didn't do that, they have enough evidence to concur all of these things. And now we have Mr. Little smidgen amount of evidence is now, you have photos of him and Putin? What does that mean? They like the same restaurant. That's what he would do.
Anti or un-American. What?
Well, if they're being stirred up and incited and led by the Russians who are trying, I mean, my goodness, we've got it right in the writings from the plans in the 1990s saying destabilize, deceive, divide, anything that could split people, keep pushing that.
And if you, so let me ask you a question.
No, there's a difference. I'm not fake soundboarding. Are you slow? James the Hermit? By the way, if a hermit, should you be actually commenting in the chats if you're a hermit? Go back into your shell, bro. In your cave.
I'm very divisionary with the positions that I have when it comes to beating the shit out of progressive leftists verbally. And I've been doing it for years.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Oh, by the way, some people asked me before on my take on Andrew Wilson. And if you guys have been around Truth Cartel long enough and just had a conversation, in fact, JP, others that have known me for a while, or chat, you know what? I'll just test the knowledge now. How many times have I ever told you to watch a debate with Andrew Wilson? How many times have I ever suggested somebody watch the debate tactics of Andrew Wilson? I'm just wondering if you guys know. How many total times have you ever seen me say, I'm going to do a debate review on how Andrew Wilson destroyed an OnlyFans? Nunca. Hey, Hermit, look that up. You don't know what nunca means. Look it up, bro. Yeah, it's absolutely zero. Norgar's been there for quite some time. And if anybody suggested, watch him, I'd say, bro, I don't, that's like watching, like some dude on the street trying to debate you on whether the earth is flat. It's all rhetoric, bro. It's all little sleight of hand crap that he does in conversations. And he's doing it to David Wood yet again.
I'm very, very divisionary.
That's very American.
What about that is un-American?
That's totally American. Unless you're doing it for Russia.
Great. Now you can show me that Jay Dyer's doing it for Russia.
Oh, well, I mean, you are the one who said it's completely reasonable to conclude if someone doesn't argue for his church as the true church to conclude.
I see what he's piecing together, but it's probably safer to say that that the connection or the evidence that he has versus the quote unquote grifter evidence that Jay Dyer presented, it's a lot more, but it's up to David Wood to connect the dots whether Russian TV or the Russian government cares about Jay Dyer's motion. which, by the way, he didn't really catch motion until earlier part of this year. And some people that worked in the camp with Andrew Wilson and Jay Dyer have pointed out that there's something that happened around in the month of February. In the month of February, where I think that they had some kind of an event in what I'm being told is in Tennessee. That's what I'm being told. Back in February, I don't know. Maybe they just got a lot of motion and they ran some videos and they did really well. Who knows? But yeah, Jay Dyer popped recently. In the last few months, I think also being on Piers Morgan may have helped. But I don't know how long Andrew Wilson's been going on Piers Morgan.
That he's trying to spread the net as wide as possible for donations. You're the one who said it would be reasonable to conclude that he's a grifter, even though it's not what you were saying.
First of all,
even though it's not what you were saying.
First of all, that's not what I said.
It is reasonable to conclude that the
first
person
of all, that's
is a grifter.
not what I said, and that's just meta shit. So, do you have any evidence at all that? No, those weren't my words. Do you're paraphrasing? You got it wrong. But
what was your position?
Hang on. Let's just
because I think I recall
David,
you saying
let's
that.
just grant it. Let's just grant it even.
Okay.
Let's just grant it. Great.
Well, that was his position, so I don't know what you're granting. That was your position. He can conclude that if you don't debate on the dot, that you're a grifter. That's it. That was enough evidence.
Okay, yeah. Andrew Wilson, what a tart that guy is. Anyway, your evidence that Jay Dyer works directly with Russia or even if is affiliated in any way with anybody from Russia? Anything, David? Do you have a damn thing, David? One thing?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
Do the math again. Here's the plan for destabilizing America. Jay goes and does exactly that. And he's Russian Orthodox Church outside of Russia.
He destabilizes America.
He pushes everything towards the Russian Orthodox Church and away from the Orthodox Church in America. Anyway.
So to get this, hang on. I just want to make.
But just to point out, then you'd ask Andrew Wilson, are liberals destabilizing America? Are they doing something against the republic, the system that we have? He's going to say yes. They're trying to do it through the courts. They're trying to do it through the Senate. They're trying to do it through the presidency. They're trying to do it through the voting, the voter fraud, blah, blah, blah. He's going to say the same thing. So for him to pretend that, David Wood has no case, it's a better case than you had for the grifter case.
Make sure that I got your actual position correct. Your position here is that Jay Dyer must, in fact, work or be affiliated with Russia in some way because documents which you uncovered through Google showed you that Russians going all the way back to, well, probably, since the turn of the century, really, if we're being honest, have plans to destabilize America, and Jay Dyer's rhetoric is a destabilizing force in America. Is that really what your position is, David?
No, my actual position is if it's reasonable for someone to say this guy isn't demanding that people go to his church as the true church, therefore he's a grifter. If you can make that conclusion, when there can be all sorts of other explanations, if that is a completely reasonable conclusion to draw, then I think there's way better evidence that Jay is with Russia.
All right. So
did you think it was a reasonable conclusion?
So then let's just go ahead and examine that. Chat. He just laid out his case. And then in this case, this is why people are saying, oh, no, he was just joking. He doesn't really believe that he works for Russia. That may be the case. But David Wood is saying ideologically they're connected. And it would not surprise him that he actually does get some orders from somewhere. Now, whether he's joking or not, is it true that he's making a better case than just saying, well, because you don't debate me, bro, therefore you're a grifter? Chat, is that a yes or no? Is his case that David Wood is putting together better than the grifter case? That's the question. Yes or no? Better case, yes or no? That's pretty much what this whole debate comes down to. Does he have more evidence? Does he have more an argument that logically follows? No. Definitely a stronger case. Yeah, yes, 50-50. Yeah, well, maybe we could say 50-50. Yes. I think if the initial claim was not a one of you, remember when he came in, he said, none of you guys defend your position. And then we proceeded to have a 2-hour conversation where I defended my position. But he was mad and he was sad because he actually had to defend his and he didn't know squat. And then people are going to be upset at David Wood because he doesn't have positions. It's kind of funny how that works, right? All right, so here we go. So David Wood has said, hey, if you can conclude that, then I have a lot more evidence to conclude that something's going on here.
Conclusion to draw?
Oh, no, of course not.
Okay, great. So let's use that logic then and now draw the actual conclusion that you want here without using that inference that you already think is bad. So let's start with that. What evidence you have Jay Dyer's in any way affiliated with anybody from Russia or with anything Russian? What is it?
Just that he's doing exactly what Russia said they wanted. And it all happens.
And so is China.
All that happens, all of a sudden it happens right when Russia.
No, China doesn't have a religious arm to it. Okay, so this is just Andrew Wilson doing what he does. Like I said, if you told me, hey, Mueller, can you go argue that the sky is red? I could debate it. And I probably in the process could make you look stupid. But in the process, I would be dishonest. So I don't do that. And this is where Andrew Wilson just doesn't have a... And I'm going to... Tomorrow, we're going to be going over a review with Wilson where he's now an agent for TPUSA and therefore Israel, allegedly, in my opinion, allegedly, because I'm using the same standard of evidence that they used to conclude that David Wood is a grifter because he doesn't, have all positions figured out, or he doesn't want to debate the One True Church because he doesn't think it's important. So, we're just going to use their standard against them. And this is the whole point. The whole point from this EO theological debate, and now it's falling into politics, is that you guys have a standard. You walk around with a certain kind of stick or policing tool with theology, and then you want to go around and smack people on the wrist saying, look, that's bad. We got the proper one. But then I go to ask you, and it turns out that you have the same epistemology, that you're actually appealing to the same process reception. And not only that your church has actually said that you guys are morons for going around saying that the church is not ecumenist. That's what your church says. So what happened? We turned it around. We placed a mirror in front of them and we said, go ahead and debate yourself. Because you're going around pretending that you don't adhere to all of these same principles. And all you do is try to twist it and go, well, I don't care. I just want to make fun of you. Yeah, those days are over.
Has a war. And then it's, hey, Orthodox of the world. Hey, Orthodox. No, hang on. Orthodox of the world unite because people are taking different sides on the war in Ukraine. So the Orthodox Church is being divided. And all of a sudden, hey, let's all of us Orthodox unite against the Protestants and the Catholics and destabilize everything.
Okay, so how would the same thing not be true of like Zionists in Israel, who basically the second there's a war, right? They start creating divisionary lines when it comes to religion between them and Muslims, which seems totally accurate and fair to me, et cetera, right? Here you have two Orthodox nations which are fighting with each other. Of course, the Orthodox Church and Orthodox people are going to have opinions about that. I don't understand, though, how we get to the conclusion that Jay is in any way involved with Russia, David. How do we get there? All you've said here is, well, Russia planned to destabilize the United States, and Jay Dyer is a destabilizing force. Therefore, Jay Dyer must be working with Russia. Is that right?
Not just destabilizing. It's the all the Orthodox unite against the enemy. That's kind of the idea.
Who's the enemy?
It's the Orthodox versus everyone else.
It's always been the Orthodox against everyone else. What are you talking about?
When were you guys like this, attacking in all directions? I understand you had debates in the past and stuff. Again, decades.
No, he's literally, this guy is off. This is where Wilson is just off. Always. Bro, we have videos of this guy with one of our friends from the show. Is Pedro here? Pedro, back in the day when Pedro was doing like co-op stuff with Crucible and Andrew Wilson, and there's the first time they interviewed Jay Dyer, you should see this. They're kissing this dude, like kissing the ring with this dude. This dude Andrew Wilson thinks this dude Jay Dyer's a god, and they're interviewing him, pretending that he's all knowing. And so for him to sit here and go, always, bro, you just started asking about Eastern Orthodoxy recently, meaning in the last 10 years or less. And you don't know your faith at all, which is why your conversation with me, you'll never put it up. Right? So what's this guy talking about? Always. Always what? Let me ask the chat a question. Prior to, let's say, 2016, when did you ever hear about the Eastern Orthodox Church? Heck, for most of you, prior to 2020, when did you ever hear about Eastern Orthodoxy? Go ahead, chat. When? You know what's funny is all the Dyerites and all the EOs in the chat right here, they're gonna lie and say they did. Never heard of it. They watch one of these low tier YouTube videos, and then they're like, oh, what's Eastern Orthodoxy? Yeah, online, not at all. Never. Nunca. Amen, hermano. Never. Well, bro, you live in Greece, bro. That you literally wake up with your Euros and your Eastern Orthodoxy, bro. What you talking about? Never heard of it. Look at this. Yep. See? Yo, of course, Wu back in his heyday. His heyday, he's like, Wu's like, yo, I used to hook up with a Greek chick, so that's why. Repent. But no, I get what you're saying. In other words, you might have had an idea, but you certainly didn't have it going, oh, debate me, bro. Oh, you're going to hell. But my church actually doesn't think you're going to hell, but I'm going to pretend that you are, and then I'm just going to offer all of my solutions, but I'm not going to actually tell you what I believe because all I want to do is dunk on you. Bro, you're welcome. I'm giving you everything. You just got to know what they believe. And Andrew Wilson, and I'll just keep it a whole buck, this live, I was critical. The part that I watched it is pretty much this area here where I started watching. I was critical that, David Wood needs to start to study up his faith and figure out these positions. And apparently he's doing it prior to having this icon debate. But David Wood has a lot of decisions he needs to make. And if he doesn't make them, that's fine too. But you got to be able to answer basics and just, shut this dude up. Andrew Wilson has like little to no knowledge about this stuff. So when he asks you a question, just answer his question and then do what real men do. I'm not saying that either one of these guys are not, but you saw what happened when somebody gets nervous and scared and has to answer a question. You know what I mean? I've never seen this in my life. What you guys are about to see right here, I've never seen this by anybody. Anybody. Mind you, you can talk to me here or you can pull up to the Discord. At any point in time, just pull up. And we can talk. And I've never, ever in a million years seen this kind of attitude. Let me show you, chat. This right here is very scary because if somebody starts acting like this, you got to ask yourself, what incarnations is going on right here?
Okay, and why is Jay Dyer call those guys and you guys grifters? Do you know? Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's because he believes that you engage in polemics and not apologetics. He doesn't believe that any of you actually will defend any of your positions. I even put the offer up for you, Mahler, to come and do the exact same thing to see if it was the case that it wasn't just purely polemics. Yet one time seen any of you in this group do anything to defend any of your positions to any sort of legitimate scrutiny. Want to do it right now to prove me wrong?
We are doing it right now.
Can you defend your position?
Yeah, I can defend my position, but you're going to have to defend yours.
No, see what I mean?
Oh, no. So you're a coward?
No, yeah.
You're going to run? You're going to run?
No.
Oh, so you don't want to.
Yeah, that's correct.
Then get somebody up here that will. Bring Jay
So
down.
wait, so you
Bring him
only
up.
will
Bring him
engage
up.
in, so you
One for
only engage in
one. Bring him up.
polemics.
One for one. Go
So
ahead.
you only engage in
Go ahead
polemics.
and ask me a question. I'll defend. Go ahead. Okay.
JP,
Are you
come on,
scared
we're
right
on-
now or
I'm
no?
here, 1v2.
Okay. What do you mean 1v2? JP, get off. It'll be 1v1. All right.
Okay,
so
yeah,
here we
great.
go.
JP, get
so
off.
then you and I, we can
No,
ask.
no.
we can ask
Yeah,
a question. There's nobody pulling up anymore.
So you're not going to engage in
There's
polemics?
nobody running. There's no secret. There's no secret guys going to help you. It's
Yeah,
just you and
okay.
me. I've never seen somebody so scared to talk about what they believe. Never. Ever. And I've been debating for years. Never. But this is what you're dealing with.
It's
Facts.
decades. I never heard it. All of a sudden, Russian war.
Yeah, no, before the
Blows
Russian
up.
war, Orthodoxy was growing like a weed long before the Russian
Growing like a weed.
war. In fact, my inquiry started before the Russian conflict did. My inquiry into Orthodoxy started before the Russian conflict. In
Wait,
fact, I
you saw
remember
the spike.
when
You
that
saw the spike.
I
You
remember
know
when
there's a
that
spike.
broke out.
You know there's a spike in like the people.
Yeah, but that's an associative fallacy. Are you saying that you think there's a spike in Orthodoxy because of the Russian war?
Yo, you know it's bad when these guys got to go. Hold on, Mueller. I looked at my calendar and I went to an Eastern Orthodoxy baptism back in 2002. Yeah, these guys, some of these dudes are like, they're off. Like this dude, Joshua right here, like would he ever in a million years pull up to actually see what his issue is? And you see his knowledge on Eastern Orthodoxy? Like would he actually do it? I don't think so. And if he does, I would love to ask him what he believes. Do you think he'll do it, chat? Chat, do you think he'll do it? Let's ask the chat. Chat, will Joshua pull up and actually talk about his knowledge of Eastern Orthodoxy? Chat? What do you think? Yes or no? My wife is Ukrainian and places awful. Romania too. Very good. Nah. That, by the way, that's how you have to say. Don't ever say nah. Say nah. Look. Yeah, that's hilarious. I went to a Greek wedding once back in the 1980s. Does that mean? Is that what you're talking about, Mueller? No idea. Nah. We too low tier for him. Yes, he isn't a coward. Ah, classic. Classic too smooth right there. No. All right, chat. Well, we'll just leave it there then. You know what I mean? We can't make people come up and talk to us. I can't remember. This is Andrew Wilson's words. Mueller forced that conversation on me. Mueller forced it. Like he literally forced it. I didn't even want to talk to Mueller. I was there to talk to JP. I tried to corner JP, but Mueller forced me into the convo. Crazy, bro.
That's the cause of it?
No, I'm saying
No,
there's
yeah,
a
'cause that would be stupid.
a coordinated campaign to be pushing this stuff.
Oh,
and
are you telling me that the EO guy ran? I'm so stunned. I'm shocked. I can't believe he ran away.
there are people who fall for it.
Great. That's fantastic.
And I'm not
Can you
talking about
show
people
me?
falling for I'm not talking about people falling for orthodoxy or
what?
something like that. I'm talking about
Here we
this.
go.
Hey, everyone else is weak. This is the masculine church. We'll show you how to be masculine. And the way to be masculine just happens to be do exactly what Putin wants you to do.
Which is what? What? How is it that the Orthodox Church teaches you to be masculine through doing what Putin wants you to do? Can you explain that to me?
Well, you go and attack all the Catholics and the Protestants and so on, and
Are they attacking them on their masculinity?
Yeah, like literally. Chat, can you guys just go ahead and go to X right now and type out Eastern Orthodoxy or just Andrew Wilson or Jay Dyer? How many comments do you think you're gonna see that call somebody basically a homo or some other female body part? Right? Go ahead, chat. How many of those comments you think you're gonna see? Maybe a few, hundreds or thousands. Chat. I'd like to know. What's your opinion? How many are you going to see? A few here or there. Maybe a couple hundred over the last year, or thousands. I'd just like to know. I would just like to know. And do you see him? He's like, how do we attack the masculinity part? This is crazy. You think you're going to see a couple here or there? You think you're going to see just, oh, I disagree with you, Mr. Protestant. Why don't we have a long discussion about theology and we can see where we differ, and then I'll give you the true gospel. Nah, that's not what it is. It's gay, low tier. This is it, bro. Should I get, David was, Rusan? Ask Rusan what they were calling him and his family, bro. For weeks. But Andrew Wilson, he's just, look at him. He's got the confused face. Like, what is this?
What?
Are they attacking them on their masculinity? What are you talking about?
They're not attacking them based on their masculinity?
Yeah, when? Where are they attacking them on masculinity?
Everyone who disagrees with them isn't gay and a female body part and so on?
There you go.
Bro, that's everybody online who disagrees with everybody.
It's just an online thing.
Gay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm telling you guys something right now. If you're a Protestant or a Catholic or just a Christian, Eastern Orthodox, whatever, and that's how you answer, and that's what you do in order to try to refute somebody's theology. Maybe you think a completely unbiblical, unchristian belief, and that's what you do. Yeah, I don't want to be associated with you. You can't do that for 1 second in the Truth Cartel Discord. Can't at all. You got to either produce a better argument, show up biblically, your hermeneutic, your interpretation, historically, whatever it is, you have to come with the goods, bro. You can't just go, oh, gay. That's just not how this works, bro. But some of you guys are so soft. Some of you guys are so weak. Like the guy who pulled up here a little while ago to talk about this, that, or the other. And now he's gone, not in the comments anymore. Not in the chat. Why? Because this is what happens. When you get challenged and you have no argument, you make these faces. You make wild claims. Instead of being the more measured guy and saying, hey, David, I can see how you might come to that conclusion. But bro, being cashed at by Putin, that's wild. Maybe say that. But no, all you get is this. What is it? This is not a debate or a conversation. This is just turd talk coming out of his mouth, bro. So, yeah, we'll leave it there. By the way, I'm going to get into this guy, Dugan. I got your message. I'm going to be getting into Dugan, and there's a brother in the Discord who knows a lot more about this stuff than I do. I don't know if he's here in the chat, but we're going to be talking about this. I'm going to be diving into this eventually. But I'm excited about being able to do these lives, having discussions, and more importantly, in full armor, the essentials. But because as you're going to see a little bit later, I think that David Wood really, in this area, should have thought about just having basic positions and answered his questions. Even if he says, hey, I'm leaning towards this view of salvation, soteriology, or this view of, whatever the topic is, he should have been prepared, and he wasn't. So we'll see that in a minute.
Just an online thing.
David, are you seriously going to tell me? Are you going to sit here with a straight face and tell me that literally everybody online has a disagreement with somebody else isn't going to call them a gay retard? Are you really going to tell me that?
It's not just the gay retard.
Are you going to sit here, look me in the eyes and tell me another lie, David?
Andrew, look at the articles coming out New York Times, everyone else. It's all, this church in the West is too effeminate, so I have to go to a manly church,
the
a masculine
church in the West is too effeminate. Yes.
Okay, there 100%. You have it. The
100%.
church is effeminate.
Yes, the Western churches are very effeminate, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know how I can prove that to you?
The solution is
do you want me to prove that to you?
The solution is to go to a manly church like the Orthodox Church, which teaches true masculinity. And in order to be masculine, we just have to do what Putin wants.
You want it? Okay, so that's where we have the disconnect.
Oh.
So we were almost in some agreement there. You're right that Western Protestant churches have become very feminized. You want me to prove it to you? All you have to do is look at the male to female ratio. Far more females than males. Same thing in the Catholic Church. The Orthodox Church is reverse. You have more males than you have females.
Well, I mean, I don't know what kind of ratio that is, bro. You guys are like 6% of the Christendom. I mean, you're dropping the bucket, bro. So, but even if you say there's more men than women, if you go back a few lives when we read the confession of that guy who left Protestantism and is now in Eastern Orthodoxy, he confessed that he probably wouldn't have done it as a married man. And not only that, he concluded too what his church concluded, is that he's an ecumenist and he believes that there is a wider net of the essentials, which, by the way, this is what this conversation is all about. You guys keep yapping and having these debates with Eastern Orthodoxy. You can go all down all the rabbit holes you want. But there's two questions you need to ask them. Okay. One is, how did you come to know the Eastern Orthodox Church is the one true church? And do you agree with the current church? Then those beget other questions. Because if they say, no, I don't, I think they're too ecumenist, okay, then who the hell are you? And how would you know that you're incorrect and they're not being led by the Spirit? They're your patriarchs. How is it that you're correct, but they're not? Who are you? You're nobody. Shut your mouth, do what your church says, and allow the heterodox brethren, like your Catholics and your Protestant brothers, allow them in, move over, allow them into Christendom. What you mad at, bro? You're mad at your church? Take it up with your church, bro. That's your church. Wake up. That's your church. You're going to have to explain it. Not me. That's your problem. It's hilarious, bro, watching these dudes squirm and the oxygen gets sucked out of the VC or the room when these guys go, oh my goodness, I sound like a non-denom because I'm trying to sit here and pay my own path to salvation and I'm disagreeing with my church and my church fathers.
The Orthodox Church focuses on patriarchy, right? Like the Catholic Church used to do. So yeah, I do think that there's a femininity issue in the church. But I think tons of Protestants would agree with me. In fact, I was in a Twitter space the other night and there was a ton of, including JP and others, who were agreeing with me that that's an issue inside of Protestant churches.
Yeah, liberalism, feminism, yeah, it's an infection, and we all would chat and fight about it, and it's infecting the church, including his. Remember, they are also in connection, or at least fellowshipping with the Archbishop of Canterbury. Isn't that a female? I mean, that would be, in their terms, they're flexing too, meaning they're becoming feminist as well. They're becoming effeminate too. So yes, it's everywhere. But for him to now point out, oh, there's people agreeing with me. That's not the point of tonight. Is your angle is call everybody gay, that they're weak, but you should go to your church where you actually don't listen to authority. You fight authority all day when your authority's telling you that, hey, Christendom, it's wide. It's open. That's according to your church. But what do? You do the effeminate thing and you rebel against authority and you go, no, I'm going to create my own ortho-bro church.
But how do we get to that next part, David? The next part where they're doing everything.
The next part
Putin
where
wants.
you need to go orthodox and so on.
Yeah,
that's the solution.
Yeah, real quick, chat, like and share the live here. If you guys want more of what actually gets these guys running and shutting up and reassessing their whole worldview, I'm just going to keep it old buck. You're not going to find it, right? I'm just being totally honest. Arguing from sola scriptura to you're blue in the face, that doesn't dismantle their arguments. Okay, you're just shooting a different target. You got to get to the sole issues of their claims. Okay, so like and share, because as you guys know, there's only a very few people that can have conversations with these dudes where they're going to actually have to answer questions. All right, so please.
How would that?
It's not. The solution isn't, hey, quit being a weakling. The solution is go to the Orthodox Church.
And is going to the Orthodox Church doing what Putin wants.
Pull up. We go one for one. You ask your question, I ask mine. All right, chat. How long do you think it takes for him to pull up? Is he going to pull up? Yes or no, chat? What do you think? This guy pretends that you can't ask me a question and I'll answer it. This is the part that's laughable. I'm not out to lunch on my positions. I'm not like even David Wood, who's just like, hey, I haven't picked anything. Got the wrong dude. Oh, you were talking about the EO? Pfft, bro, you gotta say something, bro. Put it in your comments, man. Put it in the chat, bro. You gotta make. You know what are we doing right now? Yo, this dude's got me firing shots in the chat, bro. That's crazy. Did you see that? I was like, oh, what? Word, son? I was like, let's do it. Yeah, 1.3. Yes, I'm in, hermano. Yo, why does it keep doing that?
Yeah, because when you go to the Orthodox Church, there aren't enough. You go to the, I mean, my goodness, this is what keeps coming up with the Orthobros. You end up going online and you end up becoming part of the Orthobro movement. And they steer you towards Russia.
When? Where?
How many times do we need to read this?
Yeah, that's some guy from Discord, dude. That's not evidence of nothing. And
wait a minute, guy on Discord? You mean the Discord that runs like a church? Where you kind of in your Discord act like the bishop, but certainly Jay Dyer does. He has clergy in there that shut their mouths, and what they do is they talk about the glorious Mother Russia. Discord, dude. And you're some dude with like a crucible behind you. You're some dude on the internet. Marlboro Ministries. You know what I mean? You're some dude out here pretending that you know crap. You see this? Like, having a conversation with this dude just to be like, you're some dude. I can do it all day. And that's why he's like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk to him. Why? Because he just knows I'm full of crap. And all he's going to do is make me look stupid, make me look like a coward. So I don't want to talk to him. But I'll talk to David Wood because he's nicer. This is what's happening here.
Top of that, let's point out a couple of things.
Wait, a guy who was a mod and an author for Patristic Faith, and eventually concludes.
People who are mad at each other talk shit. Oh my God, I'm so stunned.
We're not talking about that. We're talking to who he gets.
Like you pulling up here because you're mad at David Wood and you just want to talk smack and crap the whole time. Oh wow! Oh wow! It's like a little kid, bro. It's like you're debating. If you guys ever remember, some of you guys that work in like schools or we got a brother in the Discord who's like, runs a school, is a principal in school, and he deals with high school students. This is the type of argumentation. You're dealing with like a kid. Rather than, actually dealing with dismantling, any source. Okay, so now a person who knows what it is that you teach, you actually have him on RT television, the Russian state television, talking about the very topic that the guy in his Discord is saying, yeah, this is what they talk about all the time. And, that's just RT. It's everything. That's just this. Like, imagine having a conversation with this dude. Now, to me, it's fun. I like talking to people like this. But for David Woods, it's not really fun. He's just, he's just kind of entertaining this. And I'll be honest with you. I if it was me, I would have told him never to have this convo. Just to keep putting out good videos and getting them all riled up would have been better. But, David Wood don't listen to me, so.
The point where they're not actually in this for the theology. They're in this for something else. They're in this to attack other positions.
That guy's mad. And so he's talking shit, and people are talking shit about him. That's how that works.
But it's exactly what I see, though, right? I mean,
what? Where do you see it? You haven't tied any of this together.
99% of what I see from the Orthobros are just insults of one variety or another. Never. Here's what our theology is. I learned more from a 5-minute discussion with a priest in California about orthodoxy than I've ever learned from any of the Orthobros up until recently, where I started having a couple conversations.
A fuck. It has nothing to do with anything, David. Where can you tie this in to Russia is running the show for the Ortho Bros? Because you keep saying the Ortho Bros doing everything Russia wants, but then when I say, what's that? It's, they're moving people to the Orthodox Church. By that logic, David, that would mean that anybody who moves people to the Orthodox Church is doing the bidding of Russia. Is that what you're saying? That just the mere act of joining the Orthodox Church means that you're aiding Russia?
That's a straw man fallacy.
No. Okay, well then make this logically make sense to me. If Jay Dyer moves people into the Orthodox Church, right?
Russian Orthodox.
They're moving in. Right? No, not just the Russian Orthodox. He moves them into ROCOR. He moves them into the OCA. He's spoken highly of the OCA in the past and said, that's
He's spoken highly of the OCA in the past. Yo, chat, does anybody know Jay Dyer's stuff? Does he speak highly of the OCA? What? Yo, some of you guys know, followed this. You guys are like used to listen to Jay Dyer. Does he speak highly of the OCA? This dude's just a liar, bro. This dude, Andrew Wilson, has no idea what he's talking about. This dude, Jay Dyer, he rolled up. He's like, I'm going to be part of the Antiochian church. Oh! And then a few months later, he leaves because he's like, it's too ecumenist. What is he talking about? He went to ROCOR after. Then he finds out, comes to knowledge, that in 2007, the Moscow Patriarchate literally runs them. They can shut them up. They can do whatever. This autocephalous crap doesn't work if Moscow's got they got the real pen. They do the power signatures. They can make moves because they're under them. So don't get it twisted, bro. This right here is just all smokescreen. Oh, yeah, OCA. This dude pisses on OCA constantly. All the time.
fine, right? He said it multiple times. So what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? He's not just moving them into some Russian church. What do you mean?
Here's what I mean. I can't talk to a Muslim now without some orthobro jumping in there and saying, what church you bringing him to? Wrong church. It's a constant.
Yeah, but let me go ahead and push back, David, if you're watching this or if you care. That's also on you. So if a Muslim or somebody pulls up, an EO pulls up and says, hey, you're telling them this, immediately, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask them about what they're questioning about and go, oh, so you agree with me or you don't agree with me? Oh, you don't? All right, so let's get into this. Let's get into the scripture. Let's go to the early church history. Let's find out who is talking about what right now. But because you haven't spent time doing that, because you're attacking Islam, now this has come to your front door, to your front step. And now you can't really complain. It's just to, as you said, study up. So you can't complain. If I'm speaking to somebody on Discord, on YouTube or whatever, and that person pulls up and says, you're not the one true church, I'm the one true church, and that happened, I can either steer the conversation away from that and then cook this dude on his theology, or at least place him in a position where he can shut his mouth while I continue witnessing or telling, refuting whatever other argument, Islam or whatever it is. So it's up to Christians now. If anything we've learned from this is that, yeah, Andrew Wilson, as long as, you'll get some clicks out of it, he'll pull up and argue that the sky is red. What we've also learned, though, is that there's a lot of us Christians out here and even YouTubers like David Wood who need to start to solidify their position. Not sending everybody else to hell. If you believe something about salvation, then just say, hey, this is where I'm at with it. But I understand that there's other people that believe this, and I don't say they're going to hell because I can't say that. But you, however, EO, do say that, don't you? And then boom. He mocks all of them. We know this. But Wilson can pull up and just lie. And then what he does is he says it assertively. So this is the plan. Let me give you the secret sauce here. Oh, that doesn't even happen. I don't even know what you're talking about. And then you go, no, bro, he does it all the time. You show him a video. Okay, so he did it once. Then you show him 50 videos. Okay, so it's 50 videos. And then you show him hundreds of videos where he's just mocking OCA, mocking us. Okay, so I was wrong. You see it? Have you figured it out, Chet? So how many people are actually going to follow his claim that he makes right now and go, Jay Dyer doesn't even say that, and actually prove him on site, on point, to pull up all the videos to show him that Jay Dyer mocks OCA? And who would take the time to do that in a live conversation? Zero, zilch, nobody. He knows that, so he just says crap. This is class A. This is manipulation, bro. And all you have to do is know your stuff. If you know your stuff, or even if you don't know your stuff, you can just put them on the record. Like, so you say he doesn't? So he never bashes the OCA? No, he doesn't. Okay, well, yeah, you're wrong about that. So let's move on to another point because you don't want to dig into it. As they say, he would give 0 Fs.
Become a constant distraction to paralyze everything that's going on anywhere else. Protestants, Catholics, everyone else.
You sound like a paranoid schizophrenic lunatic, dude.
I know.
My God.
Oh, you mean like you and the EOs walking around pretending that your church is being ran by Satan? Let me give you this, chat. Okay, we got to get real here because these guys don't know that their whole playbook has been busted up. We've had people in the actual Discord tell me that their church currently is being led by Satan. And here's how the conversation goes. Yo, Mr. EO, do you agree with your patriarchs who have overwhelmingly united together to say, especially the Moscow Patriarchate, to tell us that Christians are Christians if they believe in the essentials? Are you against them? No, I'm not against them. My church is being led by the spirit of the devil. And you're like, wait a minute. All because they're saying there seems to be some kind of possibility that Catholics and Protestants are in Christendom? Yeah, that's of Satan. It breaks my heart to say it, but my current church is a tool of Satan. That's literally what they say, bro. Can you believe it? This is their script. And you're like, then why the hell would I go to your church? Who would go to your church? Who? I don't know anybody. You just lost me, bro. How about you do me a favor? How about you figure out that whole Cubanism thing and then get back to me? Let me know. How about that? How about that?
Orthodox people, well, they'll jump in and say that my theology is wrong, and that makes me mad. It makes me upsetty spaghetti when they do that. So Russia, right? You sound like a fucking Democrat, David. The Russians came in. The Russians came in. They manipulated our elections. You literally sound like.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Andrew Wilson. Don't let Andrew Wilson deter you. You're an inquirer. You should keep inquiring. Don't worry about what Goofy here says, all right? You keep going. Keep inquiring, all right, buddy? Got it.
A whining bitch, dude. Oh, my God. The Ortho Bros are mean. They're upset. They make
who sounds like a Democrat?
Spaghetti.
Look at this. We've got the President of the United States, Barack Obama. Governor Romney, I'm glad you recognize that Al-Qaeda is a threat. Because a few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al-Qaeda. You said Russia. And the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back because the Cold War has been over for 20 years. Who do you have here? You have the king of all the Democrats saying it's stupid to think Russia's the threat. There are so many other threats. That time has passed. So you're sounding just like Barack Obama.
Oh,
yeah. All right, everybody. You see it? Joseph just said that he's never following Andrew Wilson. All right. We got another one, chat. We're converting them one at a time. One at a time, chat. Isn't this amazing? Andrew deleted his entire stream yesterday, mentioned some of the people in attempts to ask Wood. You're saying is because he mentioned a certain group of individuals, and because that group of individuals he's aligning with, which tomorrow's live, by the way. Tune into that. We're going to figure out how he lines up with them. Maybe he's like, ooh, don't want to bite the hand that feeds me. Let me remove that. Maybe. That's an interesting sort of flow. All right, everybody. Yes. Yeah, we got that. There we go. Recently convinced are more masculine now. That exactly. Yep, you got it. You can figure out when these guys are a bunch of tryhards in the chat trying to pretend that this dude Marlboro Ministries, Andrew Wilson, is convincing them to go to Eastern Orthodoxy.
You're right, except that that was like 20 fucking years ago. Can we talk about Hillary Clinton, bro?
Okay, so you're like Barack Obama.
What about Hillary Clinton? So you're like
20 years
Hillary
ago.
Clinton. You're like Hillary Clinton
You're
10
like
years
Barack.
ago. You're
You're
like
Obama.
Hillary Clinton. You're
You're
like Clinton.
Obama.
Yeah,
You're
David
like Obama.
Clinton. David Clinton.
You're like Obama.
Okay, got it.
Andrew Obama.
You sound like a Democrat, bro. You're literally blaming all of
Wait a minute. Are these the same guys that came out, started tone policing, and all of a sudden started restricting, that would pull up and they go, we're the one true church. You can't do videos. Remember when we first started? I know you guys are not going to remember this. When we first started, me and JP kicked this whole thing off. Guess what they were doing? They were pulling up going, you guys can't say that. And then we were saying, bro, you guys sound like a bunch of liberals. All you guys do is tone police, try to correct everything we're saying. What's going on here, chat? And now, you sound like a liberal. Oh, everything. If you could pan out, get one of your high schoolers. If you know a high schooler, you got a kid that's in high school, to sit him down and say, hey, I'm going to have a debate with you. Here's the topic. Write down what you're going to say, and you're literally going to read, and it's going to be all the same talking points. Andrew Wilson goes, oh, so you sound like a liberal. You're gay. Oh, this is the same crap, bro. Yeah, congratulate Joseph, everybody. He's now left Eastern Orthodoxy. And he says because he thought that the inquiry, he changed his mind, and Andrew Wilson has turned him away from it. So thank goodness there. I got questions. Yeah, me too.
Orthodoxy, Ortho Bros Online,
No,
saying they're part of. You're saying they're part of a Russian conspiracy that you can't demonstrate.
Yeah, that they don't. Most of them don't know about.
You can't show a single tie.
They're just following their leaders.
You can't show a single tie to any of the quote Orthodox online leadership to Russia at all. And all you've done is say it distracts me from my work when they come and it makes me upset and distracts me from my work, and that's destabilizing to the nation. I want to tell you a couple things.
Is liberalism destabilizing? He would say yes. Does he say that liberals are trying to shut him down, are persecuting his family? They want to shut him up because they're trying to do is disrupt his work? Isn't that what Andrew Wilson says? So same thing. What's the problem here? Why is this guy like clockwork? Then he's everything that David Wood says today, Andrew Wilson is going to say, oh, that's ridiculous. But then literally he's going to go on his live. You can pull up all the clips and he's saying the exact same thing about some feminist blue-haired OnlyFans person that's attacking him and his movement. It's the same crap, bro. What are we doing?
First of all, nobody in the nation knows who the fuck you are. So if Ortho Bros are messing with you, or whatever.
But you said no.
That's not decent.
Well, I would honestly say, then what are you doing here? Does anybody believe, chat, that if nobody knew who David Wood was, that Andrew Wilson would not only push to debate him, but constantly try to debate him? Chat, if nobody knew who David Wood was, would Andrew Wilson be here on that live asking him questions? I mean, what are we talking about?
Destabilizing the nation. That's not destabilizing the nation.
Oh, I'm not really talking about that. I'm just saying you guys are doing that to everybody.
Who's everybody? They make fun of you sometimes on the internet, bro. That's
I don't
it.
care if people make fun of me. I'm talking about
who?
We can no longer do evangelism or anything else.
Bro, he's forgetting the plot. The plot was you pulled up and you said, let me try to do the smoker voice. Jay Dyer, Jay Dyer says, and he can logically if it is the case that Jay Dyer sees that you don't defend the one true church, if it is the case, then therefore he can conclude that you're all grifters. This is what he's talking about, bro. Don't lose the plot. So he's simply saying, if you can do that, then I have a lot more evidence and I'm doing the same thing. What's the problem?
Else without Ortho Bros jumping in there. No one else is jumping in.
Oh,
even people who think we have the wrong church and so on.
Yeah, so you're upsetty spaghetti because the Orthodox are hindering your Protestant evangelical mission. David.
Among all the other things they're doing.
So Russia.
Oh, then the next time we hear you talk about how they're going after your family and they're threatening you, everything from certain government agencies or people that are not aligning with you, we're just going to sit there and go, oh, they just disagree with you. Stop whining, bro. Literally have you online trying to act like you're going on crusades talking to blue-haired OnlyFans platforms. And you're talking about how you're just you're out here taking the punches. So now we're just gonna say, bro, they're just criticizing you. Shut your mouth. Stop whining.
It's actually secretly Russia who is destabilizing. Russia is targeting you guys and destabilizing
Russia's
this by
definitely
using
targeting
and
and trying to destabilize. We know that. Are you denying that? You're denying Russia.
I'm denying
I know you're
100%.
denying the connection. I know you're denying the connection, but you don't think Russia is trying to destabilize and so on?
I think Russia's been trying to be a destabilizing force against the United States since the 50s.
How would you identify? So there are times they're caught.
So then you agree that they're trying to destabilize. Is it possible that they could do it through a religious movement, even as disconnected subplot arm. I don't know, throw him some cash. I don't know, talk to this person who knows that person to keep pushing this agenda and undermine the West, undermine Protestantism, undermine the Constitution or the constitutional republic, undermine it. It's not possible. Is it not possible, chat? Is that not possible? I think it's possible. And he just said yes. So why wouldn't that be possible? See? Logical, intelligent. Isn't that what you guys talk about all the time? There it is.
They send money here, or they have a spy here and the spy gets caught. Do you think everyone gets caught, or there are some people who are doing it and you don't have, let's say, the paperwork for it? How would you identify someone? How would you identify? Because the way I were to do it, if I wanted to, would be, I would say, okay, what are they saying they want, and who's doing exactly what they say they want?
Well, let me tell you how this actually works in real time, having studied politics for my entire life. What happens when you have, foreign actors who are coming in, what they usually do is they try to attach themselves to some sort of political arm, okay?
Right. What do you mean? Like NGOs? Or you're like literally mean politicians every time? They don't work outside of politicians?
That's usually what they do. And that's usually at the politician level, not at the streamer level. It's not to say that streamers haven't been influenced.
Wait, what? Bro, this is literally what they... Did you not see not only the Russian government, the Chinese government with TikTok, and now even the Israeli government with TikTok and the influence? They're literally not just going after streamers who can hold an audience. They're going after people who make 1 minute clip. What is this guy talking about? Yes. That's what they're doing, bro. The internet. That's what it's called. Just boomer. It's the internet. That includes streamers. That includes online content. They're hiring them. They're paying them $7,000. Remember that? Yes. Governments are doing that. What are you talking about? You think, okay, let me ask you a question. You think that $7,000 being given to some politician who we can already guess where he's going to fall on an issue, or to pay online streamers who have literally millions of people potentially in a month clicking on their stuff? What would be more bang for your buck, chat? The streamers or the no-name politician in the state of Alabama? What do you think? Huh? Streamers? Or politicians? Come on, chat. We have literally streamers making millions, getting millions of views. What do you think is more powerful? Hitting somebody, hitting one of your local congressmen, or dropping 7K and saying, do something that can get a few million views? What is this? Is this dude a boomer or what? What are we talking about?
Have. It's just that you want to spend your money, like these are highly expensive operations. You're going to spend your money where you get the most amount of influence.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on. Stop, David. Hang on. Okay. Let me finish.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, hasn't that changed? You're going to spend it where you get the most amount of influence. It has and it hasn't. They're still mostly running on a politician. Like, what do you mean? Where would that money go?
They're still running most of their espionage at the higher political levels. Yes. Now, that it is true that that's probably picked up with streaming, just like it picked up with Newsnet.
So now he's talking about espionage versus what? Propaganda? Propaganda marketing? Like, what are you talking about? Is this guy like a boomer? He literally thinks that in order for them to be actually doing this operation properly, that they're James Bond, they got to pull up over here in their tuxedos and go to shindigs and these events. Bro, there's a reason that Epstein had no motion at the very end. He was doing it old school, flying around, trying to hit main people. And in the end, even all the politicians, all of the world started going, no, bro. What you do is you hit the onliners. You go. This is what Hillary Clinton started to pick up. That's why they lost. This is what the last campaign was when they were paying all the streamers. Okay? Remember? We did it, Joe. Kamala? Trump did it too. Yeah, Aiden Ross. All of the streamers. That's how they got the young vote out. This is exactly what Charlie Kirk did before he passed. flood millions of dollars onto TikTok for clippers. What is this guy talking about? This guy still thinks that they pull up and Bond, James Bond, and he's walking around influencing like spies. What is he doing, bro?
Works, right? There's always going to be foreign actors who do this. That's 100% correct. But you have not identified any foreign actor connection with any Orthodox streamer, not one. And when you say, don't you think that we should be able to at least identify some? I can even grant that position. Okay, how about just one?
So the Russians say, here's what we want. And
can you give me one?
Just
one who you say and claim will be willing to claim publicly is working with Russia or working with Russian interests. Can you just give me one fucking name, dude? One.
Oh, Jay Dyer.
Okay, so your public accusation is that Jay Dyer works with Russia in order to destabilize the United States, correct?
Bingo.
Okay, so you want to try to troll your way out of your claim?
Wait, what? This guy is classic troll. This is the guy that starts spazzing out and sounding like a chicken, dropping cuss words and spazzing out all day and calling people gay and all this. And now he's annoyed with David Wood, who said, bingo. This is crazy, bro. I would have just told him, hey, that's a good one, David. That's pretty funny. I'll give you a W take for that one. W take. That's what I would have said. This guy's trying to act like, bro, that was pretty good. David Wood used the line perfectly. Great job.
No, that's what
is that it?
That is my claim.
Is that your actual claim? Okay, great.
Bingo.
Now let's see a single shred of evidence for that claim being true that Jay Dyer works with the Russian government to destabilize the United States. A shred of evidence, dude.
Oh,
just as much evidence is saying that God Logic, all of these guys, David Wood, everybody, including nobody who defends any position. He even told that to me and JP, whatever. But all of these mainstream, these popular Christian streamers, all of them are liars. They don't care about souls. They're not even Christian. They're just grifters because they won't debate me, bro. You see it? So imagine if you told me, Mueller, do you think that you can go debate anybody anytime on any topic? The answer to that is yes, I can. I can do it. I can tell you that the sky is red, and I'll make you believe it. I'll have you doubting whether your retina, your actual eye is properly scanning colors. I'll do it. The problem is, if I were to do it, I would be a liar. And therefore, in the end, I can't do it. I can't do that. Andrew Wilson could pretend that he didn't follow the flow just a week ago, come up with all kinds of different ideas, logical entailments, and defend a position, and then the next week just argue the opposite. Why? Because he can do that. I can't. Now, I'm saying is, can I do it? Yes, I have the ability to do it, but I cannot do it. And that's what he does. So then tomorrow you're going to find out who Andrew Wilson is really working for. Forget Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer's in the background waiting for some debate that's apparently happening in 2027 with these guys talking about icons. So apparently that debate's going to happen sometime next year or later this year. I don't know what it is. So he's sitting back over there just waiting. Meanwhile, this dude Andrew Wilson is just, debate me on anything, bro. And he'd prefer people who have blue hair or on OnlyFans or just want to talk, liberal nonsense because, that's his bag. This is what he's doing. But I can't do that. I actually either have to believe in what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about, at least be able to debate it on a certain level. He doesn't. He can just pull up, forget everything that he said, and just run with it.
I've given plenty.
You've given zero.
Oh,
not
goodness.
One shred of evidence. You showed me a plot from the Russian government to destabilize the U.S. You haven't shown any evidence Jay Dyer's involved in that at all.
It's pretty straightforward. Again, this is Jay's standard.
It's pretty straightforward.
This is Jay's standard. I can look at someone and say, here's what I would expect him to be doing if he's this, but he's doing something else. So he's actually.
What about by your
this.
standard? How about your standard?
Oh, no, just in the name of full disclosure, if it was my standard, I would not be accusing Jay of anything right now.
That's it? So you're just trying to troll your way out of your stupid ass claims because you got blown out in the debate, David?
No, I would.
You're just literally trying to troll your way out.
No, I would say.
So they're saying is that he trolled his way out. This is the spot, right? Did I get it right, chat? I think Ben was telling us this is kind of where they took this highlight and said they trolled him out. Like I told you before that I don't think that if Putin was actually trying to move this way, and because I was told by their meeting that they had about where they're trying to align forces, they had Andrew Wilson and Jay Dyer's going to be the religious guy. He's going to be like the priest in this lineup. And then Jim Bob and all these guys were there in this meeting where they're just going to create it. They're going to take over Christian nationalism. They're going to flip it and make it EO, right? All that stuff. Yeah, when I heard about that sort of like group meeting, and it didn't seem, and the person who had knowledge of it did not feel like it was some higher up. But however, that person and a couple of other people have told me there are some people that started to come around that weren't allegedly weren't foreign. And they came around with some deep pockets, and we're looking at some of these events that they were setting up. I'll just say this. They belong to some banks, allegedly, in my opinion, allegedly. Some deep pockets with the banks. The big banks, allegedly. You know what's funny? I don't really care about this crap. That's the funny part. Is that there's a certain person that's got motion and has like people like listening to them and actually believe this stuff, or believe that this person is some kind of a debater, or this person is superior in their argumentation. I mean, that's all fine, bro. You think that he's aligning with your efforts, but don't do what I cannot stand. Be a hypocrite, hold a double standard, lie, snake your way out, argue something you don't believe, pretend that you know things, and then you're actually being controlled. If anything, I proved it when I should. All right, chat, I'm going to have to do this because you know why? We have to do it because you guys forget. And I get it. I forget stuff too. So we're just going to have to prove it. So this is how we prove it. This is how you know somebody's being dishonest. And this is kind of what, the whole point of my conversation. Pay attention. Yo, what's up? You know what once saved, always saved is?
No clue. That's why I'm asking him.
So who instructed you to ask these questions? Jay Dyer?
Nobody. Me.
What? You're asking about positions that you know nothing about?
Yeah.
So you don't know what questions you're asking, and you're telling us you didn't get them from Dyer. So who'd you get them from?
Me.
So you woke up and said, does David Wood believe in once saved, always saved? And then you showed up here to ask the question? Why? You have no clue what these things mean. You have no idea. And you're expecting us to believe that you just woke up, these things popped into your head, and you thought they popped into your head, and here you are. You expect us to believe that you're asking about questions of 5 solas. You have no clue what that is. Once saved, always saved. You have no idea what that is. And then you're telling us that all of these questions that you have, they just magically appeared apparently in your mind. You think we're idiots, or you think we're stupid? Because nobody believes this. I don't think the chat believes this. I don't think your audience believes this. That you woke up and you said 5 solas and once saved, always saved. I'm going to go ask David Wood these questions. Nobody's believing you, bro. So already what we're understanding is that today, a third question that I'm assuming you're not going to know anything about, you're about to ask him, and this popped into your head. All right, go ahead and ask the third question.
Yeah.
There you go, chat. Because I got to remind you. I have to remind you. This is what has to happen. You have to be reminded.
That I would say that at any point, I would say that
whatever,
at any
dude.
point. It's pretty.
That's
it's
pretty. Yeah,
It's
so you just
pretty
wanna-
straightforward.
You just wanna
Dude,
troll out your fucking troll out because you had nothing. You
Andrew,
had nothing, so you're trying to troll your way out. You
Andrew,
suck,
hang on.
dude.
1 second.
You're fucking terrible.
Andrew,
at this,
1
bro.
second. Do you see me normally going around accusing people of these kinds of things? No, you've never seen it. I do it right here with one guy. Why? Just applying his standard of evidence for tossing out accusations. And then you say, why are you doing that? Oh, it's because you lost the debate. No, I've been doing this for a couple months now.
Mm-hmm. So
I just noticed this awesome Russia connection.
Mm-hmm. So all the streams that you did on the connection between Orthodoxy and Russia and the Ortho Bros in Russia, you was just fun.
Yeah. So Andrew Wilson, this is where, you know, just kind of like in conversations when he's talking about topics he doesn't know. This is where he made a major goof right here. This is a major goof. Okay. Right here. All of these streams that you did with Russia and the connection between Russia and Eastern Orthodoxy. Wilson, the reason you guys are talking is because he did one video that David Wood is going to say trolled you to got you to come outside or have a conversation. Now, I still don't believe that. I think that David Wood thinks that there's something sinister happening behind here, but is it Putin cash apping? No, I don't think he thinks that. I don't think he thinks that, you know, the Kremlin is, you know, zelling him. I don't think so. But the point is, Andrew Wilson has no idea that David Wood doesn't do streams about that type of topics. If anything personal, I think the most personal he gets is with Shamoon. So just Wilson doesn't know anything. And he's like, all those streams, it wasn't one stream, it was a 15-minute video, bro, that you jumped out of your seat and were like, debate me, bro. And there you are. So look, David Woods is going to do the investigation for him and figure out that Andrew Wilson, yet again, doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just bullying. And then he gets corrected and he just corrects. So remember that whole thing that I tell you where he says, hey, he makes a claim. And then if you were to call him out, that's bull, that's a lie, that's not true. Oh, okay. Or you were to show him evidence, he would just move the goalpost and then eventually go, okay, so I was wrong. Well, this is one of these situations where David Wood goes, what are you talking about? What lives?
And
Wait, which ones? Which ones are you referring to?
the ones that you've recently done on your channel. You was just funning.
He didn't do any lives on his channel.
Not sure what you're referring to.
Bro. What a waste of fucking time. Really? This is what it was, dude?
I agree. We could all be doing something more, something better right now.
Hey,
but the Ortho Bros say we have to do this.
Oh my God.
Let's see. Cora, Sam Shamoon, Rotherham grooming gangs, women in Islam. Was Jesus a Muslim? Muhammad Hijab and Yasser Qadi.
Yeah, there's literally no lives of him talking about this at all. So Andrew Wilson got gassed up. His little team of researchers, by the way, he has a little group of researchers. These are the group that he pays. You know, it's kind of like, what's his name? What's a comedian where he says he paid his Dave Chappelle, where he says he pays his security. I paid you $5,000 to hold me down. He pays his people like $5,000 a month in order to research, to have him prepared. And they could have easily found out that David Wood has never talked about this at all. He just did a video on X, and here they are.
Muslims beg rabbi to help them. Malik Libiano, rabbi tries to rescue Muslims. Sam Shamoon, Ali Dawa Wars. Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about with recent live streams. Oh, if you mean the live streams where we're talking about orthodoxy and stuff, yeah, but I don't think we were talking about Ortho Bros working for Russia, unless I'm just forgetting right now.
So to get this right, I just want to make sure that we're totally clear here, right? You actually didn't mean any of those accusations, and you were full of shit, correct?
Oh, I agree. I would say it looks awfully suspicious and some serious issues there that I'll look into. So now you're going to look into it because it is awful suspicious. So this isn't just cope because you got your ass blown out because you have no evidence for any of your claims because you're a moron, right? That's not what it is. If you're saying I have no evidence, I've got way more evidence than Jay Dyer has when he's accusing people of things.
I think
I
that
have
there
way
might be
more
a
evidence
slight.
than Jay
Do you
Dyer
think
has
that
when
there
he's
might be a,
accusing.
like a slight distinction between saying I think that that guy's a grifter and I think that guy's a fucking agent of a foreign nation here to destabilize mine?
Actually, I think about that question. An agent of a foreign nation. I mean, if that's the claim, that's a little bit more difficult. But grifting is basically saying you're lying. You don't really believe this position, or you're or you're just talking. Well, I mean, at the same time, it would be, does Jay Dyer sympathize with Eastern Orthodoxy to the level that it goes back to Mother Russia? I don't think that that's vastly different claim. But when you start setting it up with James Bond type level of pull up, he's a spy, that kind of crap. Yeah, I would say that's a little far. But no, I didn't. So here's what we're gonna do though. We're gonna get to the part, because we're gonna be fair. We're gonna forward to the part where I think David Wood, needs and this was like a big fail too, by the way, because I think at one point he tries to play a video where his buddy ended up taking a trip to Israel where they went together. But I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and forward it, because as you can see, David Wood made his point and was, let's say pretending in a sense, but he did say, hey, it's awfully suspicious that I see a lot of this activity. So I'm not completely saying it's out of the realm of possibility, but I want to get to the part where Andrew Wilson then goes back into his, let me question him on what he believes bag. Right? This is the classic move that they do. Check this out.
Pro-Russia station, but Jay's never been back to Russia.
Russians.
And
Wait a minute. This is still in the Israeli talk where he talks about AP, his buddy, being there. Let me see if I get to. Let me get to the part. Yeah, here it is. Okay, now this, I'm going to admit, wasn't a good look. But let's see where this goes. Watch this.
But you're not very good at defending your own positions. In fact, last time I talked to you, you basically were confused about what your positions were. For instance,
I wasn't confused at all.
Yeah, you really were confused. You really weren't willing to commit to many of the positions that you stated. So what are your actual positions, David? Can you tell us?
Yeah, you just completely misrepresented what I said.
Now, what do you think would happen if he's speaking to me and asking me, you don't know about your positions? What do you think I would say, chat? What do you think would come out of my mouth if he says, I'm going to ask you some questions? Are you okay with that? What do you think I'm going to say, chat? What do you think my reply is going to be? Go ahead and take a wild guess on what I'm going to say. You could ask me a question for sure, and I'll answer it. But go ahead, chat. Go ahead and tell me. What do you think I would tell Mr. Andrew Wilson if he says, I want to ask you some questions about what you believe? Sure, absolutely. It would definitely be a sure. It would be a sure, no problem at all. But one for one. You're going to ask me what I believe, but I want to know what you believe. One for one. Answer my question. Please ask all the questions you want, but you're going to have to answer my questions. One for one. What do you think? This has what? Of an intelligence. Exactly. That's what it is. That's what I get to feel. The Crucible is a part of an intelligence operation. Definitely. Real slick debate tactics. Andrew can't answer questions. Oh, I know he can't. Not on this topic. Other topics he could. Sure he could. Offense is the best defense. I would disagree. In fact, you're going to get my take on that right after this. But here, guys, go ahead and take notes. You guys are Christians. You're watching this. You have to be honest with David Wood as to what transpires next.
Yeah, but how about we just don't misrepresent anything? And I just ask you, what are your actual positions on Christianity?
God exists. God created the world. God sent prophets into the world. God gave revelations. Jesus entered the world. The Son entered the world as Jesus of Nazareth, performed miracles, died on the cross for sins, rose from
What
the
about
dead.
penal substitution atonement?
How many times do I need to explain this?
Just yes or no.
Looks like it.
So you don't know?
You're Jesus died on the cross for sins. You know
right,
this.
So let me play this out for you. Penal substitutionary atonement. Yes, I believe it. But you believe it too, don't you? That's my question. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me try this again. You asked me. Yes. But you believe it too, don't you? What do you think you would say to that? Does he believe in penal substitutionary atonement? Huh? What do you think you would answer to that? What do you think you would do? And of course, because these conversations are, remember, nuance, Maxine. It's just nuances. You got these EOs always using the word nuance every time they try to slick out of something. Yeah, you believe it too. And yes, there's nuances. So what's your point? Are you going to tell me that penal substitutionary atonement language doesn't exist in the scripture, hasn't been debated from the beginning, but exactly what you mean by PSA is exactly what's up for debate? So therefore you and I can both say yes, and therefore you and I both agree, just like Mahler got you to agree with everything in his conversation, and then later you were fussing, yeah. This is literally what he did. The more I would get him agree, the more frustrated he would get. Because as I told you before, fundamentally Christians and all these traditions agree 90%. But it comes down to certain definitions that sure could be a wide divide, but remember, not wide enough to keep us out of Christendom. Looks like the whole debate is over, chat, because the Kremlin, the patriarchs of the EO Church, they believe we're in Christendom. Sorry, they said it. I didn't. Take that to the bank.
You've got the ransom theory, penal substitutionary atonement. In my mind, I'm always thinking, it's like, okay, you have I suppose you have quantum mechanics and you have relativity. They both can't be true. They both work. They both work with certain evidence, and yet they both can't be true. So what are people doing? Maybe there's this other theory that maybe there's this other scientific theory that will incorporate all the data and do so. Looks like penal substitutionary atonement, some version of that. Do I say I affirm this as the only correct position and everything else is wrong? I don't have any reason to think that I've looked into all the alternative positions thoroughly. And therefore, what do I say? I say Jesus died on the cross for sins. Do I affirm this thing right here? Well, I can say it looks like it. I lean in that direction. But if you say, David, now let me go and ask you this, Andrew. Just a quick question here. Do you believe the Bible teaches penal substitutionary atonement as the correct?
There he is. He's on it, chat. You see it? Game over, right? Game over. Now David Wood's like, wait a minute. I kind of said yeah, and I'm still, on the fence. I could be wrong. What do you believe? Let's see.
Position.
No.
Okay. So if I say I'm just going with the Bible, why would you say, David, this is the issue with the orthobros. I say, hey, I became a Christian in a jail cell reading the Bible, and I believe the Bible, and okay, I'm kind of sticking with that unless someone shows me I'm wrong about something and I need to also adhere to one particular church or something like that. I'm sticking with this.
Remember, Andrew Wilson said no. But chat, Eastern Orthodox, if you're watching, is that true? Does your church not believe in penal substitutionary atonement, period? Or you don't believe in a certain version of it? See the difference? See the difference? But he said no, when I could easily get him to say yes. He does, easily. Not on just with the scripture, with the history of his church. They do believe in a version of it, so he can't say no. The question is, what's the focal point? What's the actual declaration or articulation of penal substitutionary atonement according to their tradition? But you can never say no, but the dude said no. Why? Because he's being fed this. So as much as this dude, David Wood, could be accused of being a dishonest actor by him and the Ortho Bros, this dude, Andrew Wilson, pulls up with topics, conversation, says no, says that the Moscow Patriarchate is not over the Russian church outside of Russia. Nonsense. All lies. It's not true.
If you say, well, therefore, since you're not going to the Orthodox Church, you're not going to the Catholic Church, therefore you have to affirm penal substitutionary atonement, it really sounds, and the 5 solas and so on, it really sounds like you're saying, if you just go with the Bible affirms these things. And yet you're saying you don't think the Bible affirms those things. Well, why would you be insisting someone says, I'm just going to go with the Bible unless you show me the church authority?
That's just a word salad and garbage coming out of your mouth. It's total word salad.
So he asked him a question, and look what he did. You're just garbage. This garbage came out of your mouth. You can't answer the question. Andrew Wilson has no idea what he's talking about in these topics. He's just lost, bro. He's lost. So he's not going to answer the question.
No, some people are just like this. And
here, let me go ahead and do this. Put this to 1 1/4 because the next few minutes we have to be honest with our Christian brethren. Check this out.
Guess what? It's kind of tied to what I was saying.
It's trash. It's just garbage. You just
no, it's not.
Garbage.
It's kind of tied to me saying I wouldn't accuse someone unless it reached some threshold and so on. And I even said when we were talking earlier, I said it's kind of up to the person. It's kind of up to the person.
Positions, bro. That's it.
Yeah, and I've explained it. You don't accept that someone doesn't think. Just I either affirm this or I reject it. I don't simply affirm things or reject things. I can say
I just want to know the positions. That's it. 5 solas.
Jesus died on the cross for sins.
Yeah, that's 5 solas. Do you affirm the 5 solas? Do you believe them?
Haven't we been through this? My position hasn't changed.
Okay, I don't remember. What did you say about the 5 solas?
Take something like sola scriptura, right? Mm-hmm. Take something like sola scriptura. Yeah. The Bible is the only infallible authority for Christians or something like that. What do I say? I don't say.
Well, it'd be the ultimate infallible authority by which all standards are judged.
And what do I say? If you show me there's some other infallible authority, I'll go with that. I haven't seen that. Therefore, I don't say this is the correct position that I affirm and I reject.
Now, just to make it clear, right? How you could clear up the line of questioning, but David Wood is, now thinking about it, he's just trying not to get, pigeonholed as an exclusivist or, a hardline or whatever. But the easy way to point this is say, do you think that I'm a Christian if I believe the 5 solas? Let's just say for today, I do believe them. Am I a Christian, Andrew? And he's going to say, well, no. Okay. And it's based on me believing the 5 solas, correct? Yeah. Okay, cool. So your stance is I'm not Christian because I believe in the 5 solas, if that's what his position is, right? Like personally, me, I don't believe in the complete articulation of the 5 solas, right? I'm not Reformed. I'm not a Calvinist, but, David Wood might be somewhere in between. I don't know. The point is I would make a distinction and ask if he believes that because he believes the 5 solas that he's doomed or done. And what that would lay out is to be able to show his position. David Wood is trying to say that I could be wrong about some of these Christian doctrines, but I know what I'm not wrong about is that if a person believes in a variation of the 5 solas or something different, or the ultimate authority by which all standards are measured, sola scriptura, whatever definition, but it depends on who you talk to. If I affirm those things, I'm not, or if I disagree with somebody who affirms those things, I'm not going to say they're going to hell. But that seems to be your position. So for all intents and purposes, place me in the Protestant camp. And in the end, if you believe that I believe all these things, you think that I'm going to hell, this is my point. This is the ortho-bro position, is it not? Is this your position? And he would have to say yes, I'm assuming. Now, if he says no, the debate is over. It's over. Oh, so I'm not doomed? No. Are you going to be like Father Stephen D. Young? Are you going to tell me, well, it depends on whether you have fruits of the Spirit? Craziest thing I've ever heard. This guy goes, well, Protestants in general, they're not good. I'm not going to say this. But if you're showing fruits of the Holy Spirit, then I'm going to go ahead and put you in the saved camp. Wow, that's amazing. That's what your church believes. Literally. I don't know. What's the debate about? Nothing. Right after that, Gavin and him should have just fist bumped and just said, all right, show's over. Everybody go home. Stephen D. Young, put us in the kingdom. The EOs are not even smart enough to pick that up, bro. You're literally doing all this. Bro, you're joining a church. You're putting yourself in a position. You're going around trying to punk your Protestant family. You're telling everybody's going to hell. And eventually you're going to learn that your church doesn't believe that, bro. Like, figure that out. It's like getting into an exclusive club. You pull up, you're like, yeah, man, I paid all this money. I did all this to get into this exclusive club. And you pull up and it's like, hey, wait a minute. What's my neighbor doing here, bro? He doesn't have the card to get into this club. And they're like, bro, he's in the club too. You'd be like, well, bro, I felt like I got ripped off. And that's exactly, if you go back to the live, what is it, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, about the confession of the Eastern Orthodox guy who went in there all gun-ho, tried to take his whole family to become EO, and it miserably failed. And you know the conclusion that he came to? Is the Protestant or the evangelical woman that's, counseling or giving to the poor, is God more pleased with her or with me? In me, in my asceticism, or just me staring at my belly button. You know what I mean? That's how he put it. I don't know. I think God may be more pleased by the woman who's serving her local non-denom church and giving to the poor than me, who's trying to be focused on knowing all the church fathers inside and out. And then in the end, I don't really, witness that way, the way that lady's witnessing. This is what this comes down to. All of it comes down to that. The debate is over. But whether these guys are going to wake up and start to figure out that they need to be productive Christians, even as Eastern Orthodox, and cut the crap and get to real life, real living, real discipleship, real living it out, pray for them that they eventually get there. And this doesn't go just for them. This goes for Tradcast. You psycho Protestants are out here sending everybody to hell because, bro, just stop it. Y'all got the same problems too. There's no way you're going to be able to substantiate any of that. That's just your belief. Well, how about this? How about the number one advice that I give to young men that are starting families, running businesses and all this? And the number one advice when they're sitting there swinging and they're like, I want to make this for the Lord. I want to make a record or a business for the Lord. I want to do my own YouTube channel. I want to be a social influencer and I want to influence for the Lord. And I want to do this and I'm going to show my family. I want to influence it for the Lord. And then the number one thing is, so you actually want to live for the Lord, huh? Why don't you do this? Why don't you shut your mouth and live it out? You want to get your family, you want to get your wife, you want to get your kids, you want to get your parents, you want to get all your family and your friends to believe the story that you found the one true church, then why don't you shut your mouth and live it out? And I tell that to Protestants, Catholics, all these guys that pull up and want to quote, the papacy. We have a great Irish brother who's a devout Catholic, and he comes in and he wants to talk about the papacy every single time. And the only thing I'm concerned with is that he's, under 25, not married. I don't know what's going on in his life. And I'm more worried about, bro, are you living this joint out or what are you doing? Are you just talking about the papacy all day? Like, can I keep it a buck? This is scary.
All others. Why? You guys might come up with some awesome case for me one day. I sat here and listened to you guys and so on.
Okay, when do you believe a child?
Hang on.
I get it. When do you believe a child isn't sold?
Don't know.
Okay.
I would lean towards conception, but I don't know. I don't know of a clear Bible verse that says sold right there.
Do you believe
I don't even have a firm position on what the soul is. I mean, you have, substance dualism, you got hylomorphism and stuff like that. Like, how would I know?
Couple more questions. I'm just curious about.
By the way, Andrew, I'm not interested in the 20 questions. My answer is going to be the same.
Hang on. I'm asking you questions I've never asked you. So I just want to know the answers to them. So I got a couple other ones.
Man, in the Q&A. We're here. You got something on the topic?
Well, hang on. Yeah, this is on the topic. So I want to know. We're talking about grifting, right? You're not answering any more questions, David? Because I'm going to keep asking them to you until you answer them, or you're going to have to rage quit, I guess.
I don't care.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you.
Do you see the goal? He's paying. I'm just showing you guys all the cards that this guy plays. You get your high school student debate tactics and points, right? Try to rage bait people, and then in the end his goal is to get you to rage quit. So I doing the same things, calling me names, and then I told him, say the N-word. By the way, I'm still waiting for the video, this Rumble video, where this guy just drops the N-word all day. Because apparently he says, I do it all the time. Remember that? I do it all the time, dude. I do it all the time. I drop the N-word all the time. I do it all the time on my Rumble. Just drop off here and go to Rumble. And I'm like, go for it. Let me see. Let's see, tough guy. Let me see. Let me see. Can somebody send me the clip of this guy saying the N-word all day on Rumble? Anybody? Anybody got it? Anybody got that clip? Anybody got that clip? I still haven't seen this clip. Does any of you Andrew Wilson fans, you guys have the clip of him dropping the N-word? You know, he's got the N-word pass. Didn't he say? Dyer said one of the brothers gave me the N-word pass. So where is it? Where's this supposed gangster, him dropping the N-word all day? Where's it at? Why would I want him to be racist? No, he said that he does it all the time. What are you talking? Wait a minute. Yo, this guy just fell for the trap. Yo, James, are you saying that Andrew Wilson is a racist because he uses the N-word? What's your criteria? What's your criterion? Let me ask you a question. Are you a relativist? Are you using your social construct? Are you applying the rules of today's society against Andrew Wilson? Boy, this EO just stepped in it. Are you calling him a racist? Tell you, bro, they don't even know their own playbook. I'm trying to teach you guys your own playbook, bro. This is it. This is it. Oh, no, according to him, it's very free speech. He says it all the time. Remember? You remember when I said, go ahead and say it? Let's hear it. Yeah, of course I asked him because he said that he doesn't believe that these are bad words. Are you following the conversation? Okay, if you're not EO, follow the conversation, bro. He says that these words don't matter. Then I said, then drop the N-word. He says, I do. I'm just not going to do it here. I do it on Rumble. That's what he said. So I said, oh, great. Go ahead and do it. So I'm still waiting for the clip. Where's the Rumble clip of this dude dropping the N-word like he's a soldier? Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, no worries, bro. My bad. I thought you were EO. What up, my brother?
A few more.
You can ask anything you want. I'm not interested in the 20 questions. We showed up
Not
here
interested
for
in answering the
topics. We're
questions?
talking.
What, you don't want to
We
answer
showed up for
questions?
the Russia thing and the Israel thing. No, I don't want to answer.
You don't want to
a bunch
answer
of
any
your-
questions?
A bunch of your questions. I mean, if you have
Not
something
any?
that's on something on topic, yeah, go something on topic.
Well, I don't understand. Are we still talking about that topic?
Yeah, Russia.
Are we talking about a new topic?
Russia or Israel?
Russia or Israel? Okay. Well, let me just ask you this. Do you believe that God is omnipotent and omniscient? Can I at least ask that?
So, real quick, if you guys
Is he
haven't
omnipotent and
noticed, you're watching Andrew Wilson. He's reading some questions that were pre-prepared for him. So let me tell you real quick that this is where I think that David Wood could have just answered and then just said, "All right, bro, we done with the convo, and maybe cut it," because this is a pretty simple conversation, unless people are fishing for their position. Okay, now let's wise up. Okay. So I'm going to let him see, then let's see as David Wood refuses to answer this question. And you're going to ask why, what's Andrew Wilson fishing for? Now, remember, I'm a dumb Mexican. So how do I figure these things out? It's just you have to be keen on when people are asking questions, when they know the answer to it. Typically what they'll do is when they're asking questions, they don't have any idea what they're asking. Somebody obviously gave them those questions. And that person is telling them, get him to answer these questions so that when I debate him later, or when we debate him later, you know who we're talking about, wink, wink. I'll go ahead and trip him up. Wait a minute. So you don't even, you're an open theist. I'll show you in a second. Watch. Look as he asked him this question.
Do you believe in a pre-revelation rapture?
Told you I'm not answering. Got
A
anything on topic?
pre-revelation rapture?
So he's reading it. You could see his eyes, and he says pre-revelation, which he meant pre-tribulation rapture. And he continues to say it. So this is obviously not a question that he knows anything about, right? But David Wood just should have said, yeah, I believe he's omniscient, omnipotent, all the omnis. I believe that. I think he does. So chat, why do you think Andrew Wilson is asking another Christian whether he believes God is omniscient? Right? Or asking about any of the omnis. Wouldn't it be just like a duh? Yes. Why is he asking him this, chat? Do you know why? because David Wood associates or hangs out with some people, right? And I mean, other ministries or IP, which hangs out with a group that are pretty much borderline open theists. They have a view of God, or let's just say they don't like the term, but that's what's lobbied or lobbed against them, is that they're open theists. So he's trying to figure out whether David possibly holds to some of these controversial views. This is, I don't know this for sure. I'm picking up on the connections. And so he's asking him, he's trying to figure out what David Wood believes. But David just should have answered these questions or cut it and said, all right, we're not going to talk about this. Then, we'll have another conversation. We'll set up some other conversation. You can tell me what you believe and I can tell you what I believe. Yeah, of course, this is all backup information for him. Right? Allegedly.
David?
If you are ever interested in having a discussion on topic,
Well, the debate's already done. So do you believe in pre-revelation?
Want to take some questions from the chat then?
No, I want you to answer my question. Do you believe in pre-revelation rapture?
Not interested.
Post-revelation rapture?
It's
Yeah, post-revelation rapture, chat. I'm not going to say anything. Post-revelation chat. Post-revelation chat. Post-revelation. You guys get it.
What is your eschatology, actually, David? I'm curious.
Yeah.
What is your eschatology?
Jesus wins. That's my eschatology. It's another perfect example.
Great.
You have all these different views. What's your view, David? Jesus wins. Well, do you adhere to this position? No.
So pre-rapture? Not sure.
Not sure.
Pre-rapture? Does Andrew Wilson not believe in the second coming? Let me ask you guys a question, chat. Let me go ahead and drop. I know I pinned it, but we didn't have anybody who disagreed with me pull up. Here we go. So we'll open it up for some of you to give a critique. There it is. Click the StreamYard. You can pull up, give some W takes though. No L takes. But obviously, David Wood here just needed, in my opinion, just to answer the questions, or and he did in certain ways, and kind of wrap up. I think I'm starting to see a little bit more that this was him kind of playing a little bit of a game, or their move on them. And now Andrew Wilson kind of figured it out a little bit, and he's getting upset. But he's asking questions that even his church believes. Every church believes in a rapture.
Not sure. Don't know for sure.
Don't know.
No. Do you think people can get divorced? Is that permitted by Christianity, divorce? David, should babies get baptized?
I don't know about this one, chat.
Do you think in Moscow, the patriarch of Moscow thinks babies should get baptized?
Reminds me of the Kelly Powers conversation. That, by the way, disappeared and I hope never sees the light of day.
Can you do
Kelly
Andy
Powers?
Griffith? The chat wants to hear Andy
Kelly
Griffith.
Powers is very smart, never releasing that video and getting rid of it. Because that was very, very sort of, in many ways by both sides, really ridiculous behavior. So, but I'll be honest with you, this guy's just, David Wood's just kind of whistling and just answering his questions really quickly back. Depends. He could have just said, no, I don't believe in it, but I don't tell Christians they're going to hell if they don't. How about you? Real quick. And then be like, all right, one more question on this. Then we're going to go to the questions in the chat, the super chats. Simple.
Yeah, David, do you believe that Jesus had brothers? No.
Hey, matter of fact,
Yes, I do. But let me ask you a question. If he did, does that mean, if I believe that, if he actually did, does that mean the plan of salvation has been thwarted? And, we're all cooked? Well, no. All right, then. So you agree with me. We're kind of good on this one. To the what? Oh, no, wait a minute. Hold on. Do address the offense versus. Okay, yeah, I'm going to hit that point right now. Thanks for reminding me. Chat, real quick. I'll drop it again. You guys have it pinned. W takes, pull up if you want to have a conversation. But I'm going to give you guys the best point because this is going to lean in to tomorrow's show. Oh, Lord. Is there a lot riding on tomorrow's show, chat? A lot riding on tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show, we're going to introduce Premier Full Armor. And I'm going to need Christians to step up to be able to support this mission into the future. The goal is to, outside of maybe a couple of months, during the holidays or a couple of weeks throughout the year, we want to be building full armor every lesson. But as you're going to see, we're relying not only just on space and technology, meaning, space for memory and RAM and all that, but AI production, and that all costs money. But tomorrow we're going to go ahead and talk about full armor, which ties into what I think David Wood doesn't hold positions on, but maybe he does. But I think that there's a lot of things that he says that he's still looking into. This should get us Christians to get to the very point that you want me to point out. Give me 1 second. I'm about to address it. So I want to watch a few more seconds here.
So that's another good example. You mean biological, brothers?
Yeah.
Lean in that direction. But it's another situation where if you guys came up with
Just
some
not sure.
argument, if you came up with some argument, it sounds like that from Scripture. If you guys came up with some argument, be happy to go along with your position. Same thing over and over again. There are certain things like I can decide. I can either stay in this chair or get up from this chair. I have to do one or the other. It's kind of a forced decision. Like I have to either be here or get up from here. There are all kinds of other issues.
No, you don't have to do either of those things, actually.
And this is now Andrew Wilson's desperate attempt to try to just debate anything. Right here, did you see it? This is the high school kid. This is the high school kid. No, you actually don't. The sky's really red. It's not actually blue. No, you're wrong. You see? This is it right here. All right, chat. I might do a follow-up on this, but tomorrow's more important, as it turns out that we found out that we didn't really have evidence. He later asked him about, earlier he asked him evidence about him being an Israeli agent, David Wood. So I don't think either of them were able to prove that one is working for Israel or the other one is working for Russia. Just think that the evidence fell short. Could you, according to Jay Dyer's standard of evidence, as David Wood pointed out, conclude that? Meaning logical entailment, could you put together a case that it's possible? Yes. But I suppose anything's possible. But I'm going to leave you with this thought on this debate and kind of pause it there. Is that when it gets to the point where a conversation amongst Christians is now just, I want to debate you. I want to hit you with a point and I just want you to lose in some way. Then you get desperate and you start to, just point anything out. It's time for Christians to assess whether that conversation is worth it. I got to do it all the time. Now, the good news for me is that I no longer, maybe a few years ago, I would have wasted my time going down these paths just to go, oh, you're trying to do, I want to win. Is the sky blue? Yes, see, I won. You agree with me. I used to actually do that to go, maybe a few points downstream and then go, oh, so you agree with me, and hit them back. I don't do that anymore. I'm just like, all right, bro, so we're good now. We're done, right? And you got cooked. Your points are lost. Game over. All right, let's do this. And I'm going to get to the apologetics versus polemics quote in a minute, if anybody else wants to pull up before. But we have my beloved brother from another mother with the same heavenly Father. Here he is, my brother. Wait a minute. Are we good here? No, we're not. Hold on, Neil. What the heck is going on here? How come I lose this frame? I want to pull you up. Next, there it is. I want to pull you up. There you are. All right, my brother Neil, you're muted. Talk to me.
Hey, brother.
How are you, brother?
I just woke up. I missed the start.
That probably literally is true. I know you're on the other side of the world,
Yes.
but that's hilarious. Good. That was a good one. Go for it, Neil.
First of all, like the debate, I missed the start, so I'm just going by like my personal views on the interaction between both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think David Wood should stop engaging these people if he doesn't understand what these people are, like how these people uh, think and go about things, because in the debate, like you said, uh, David Wood couldn't substantiate that there was a connection. In fact, he admitted that according to his own standards, David Wood standards, he wouldn't have made the connection that he's making. But in the video that he published uh, a little earlier, he didn't say that, okay, if I go as per Jay Dyer's standards, then this follows, right? He
Yeah,
does that in the. Mhm.
yeah, I was just
You
gonna
get the
say.
point, right?
Yeah, I do get the point, but I was going to say, Neil, he did, and just to give David Wood a little bit of credit, he did say, okay, for all intents and purposes, no, I would not take this to court. I wouldn't use this as my evidence. He says, but it does have me curious that it is connecting the possibility. So he did give that disclosure after he says, no, this is not enough to go to court with. Now, Jay Dyer court, he says, yes, I could enter with all this, and this would make a better case than him for the grifter. So he did clarify that. So I'll give him credit for that. That I didn't really kind of catch when I first
Okay.
was watching it. But even then, your point still stands. Your point is whether this is beneficial. So can I tell you something that happened just in conversations with me and other Christians, YouTubers and stuff like that. So a particular YouTuber who's really keen, has a really good, obviously a pulse on everything that's happening and can read people, knows David Wood. He made a point. He says that David Wood is beloved even outside of Protestant circles because of his work, his polemic work against of Islam for 20-25 years, I think it is now. Okay. And I said, great point. I agree with you. The problem is this is not helping that beloved image.
Yes.
This is not helping at all. Even if in the end he control Andrew Wilson, which, he's obviously capable of doing it. Or even if he's like, hey, I don't know yet. I don't know about the 5 solas. I haven't researched enough. It's not a good look. And I don't think it's beneficial to his, if we want to use these big terms, everybody throws around legacy or his ministry or his work. I don't think that this is helping. I think enough's enough. So I agree with you completely on that side. And, I've told and I've expressed this, that he has a debate coming up in like months from now. Just, unless he wants to do a live addressing them, it gets real hostile. Just, do a live or do a video. I think he does great videos. There's some of the better,
Yes.
poignant videos that I see in Christian YouTube. Just do that, bro. But stop talking to people like this. It's not moving the needle, and it's going to remove the credibility, even if it's just a minute amount. There's no upside for you in these convos, only downside. How much, we don't know. But that's kind of what I said to that, Christian conversation that I had with those other guys. So I think that you're agreeing with me, but I kind of feel like you have an
Yes.
even better, because you're much better at this, articulating your position. What do you think is the major concern? For instance, you're a Catholic. I'm pretty sure that you see overall David Wood, his polemic work, is something that you would agree he's done a lot of work. But what would you
Yes.
caution him if you're speaking? Because David Wood might watch this. What would you tell him if you had to give him advice as to why you think he shouldn't be doing this?
Yeah. So uh, I have immense respect for uh, David Wood and Sam Shamoon, right? Even though Sam Shamoon has gone off the rails, and I'm not sure whether he's a Christian anymore, but these two gentlemen, they helped me not to convert to Islam. I was at one point very fascinated with Islam.
Hmm.
So I have immense respect still for both of them, but especially David Wood, because like he was a psychopath who took the hammer to his father's head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the changes that I see in him, that is the power of the gospel.
Amen.
So the respect is still there. I would just say that one is just do the debates like you said, or do like short videos, interacting with, uh, unless like he's talking to a priest or something who
Yeah.
will come with a different pastoral intent. discussions with either Jay Dyer or Andrew Wilson before the debate. I don't think it makes any sense since he's committed to two debates now.
Mhm.
That is one. The second is that I don't agree with the entire 1 Peter 3:15 interpretation of David Wood that an apologist should have. Uh, Let me qualify this, okay?
Mhm.
Now, the apologist should have a specific focus because the verse itself doesn't say that.
Yeah, correct. I would
Peter is just
disagree with that as well.
Peter is just saying that if anybody comes to you asking for the hope, that
Yep.
is reason for the hope that is in you. That is
Mhm.
very open ended, right?
It
So if
is.
an Orthodox person comes to David Wood, or if a Catholic person comes to David Wood, and you just want to know, like, on what basis? It's just like gospel minimalism or whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
So what do you think about the Protestant doctrine or that Catholic doctrine? At least have some opinion that even if you're not entirely sure, then at least you show demonstrate that you're aware of it. Like goodness, you're a apologetics is your day job, bro. You're
Yeah,
not like
true.
a lay person who is not involved in this and who gets stumped, right?
Yep.
Now, where I would agree with him is that an apologist can't be expected, or no human can be expected to know everything about everything.
Correct.
That is fine,
Mhm.
but it seems to me that David Wood has this uh, has this view that if you just have gospel minimalism or whatever you want to call it, where Christ saves, that may be sufficient for your salvation, like depending on various things.
Right.
But if you're in the business of defending the faith, you should at least have some familiarity with what the other positions are.
Yeah, the
And
landscape. Yeah.
yes, and David Wood's essentially his essential excuse is that he is a skeptical person by nature. That's why he thinks about this in probabilities. That may be fine, but even you can have higher probabilities of some things being true. But the way he talks about it, right, it's like he's like 50-50 or something, or maybe 55-45 or something. Uh, and
Yeah, I
these are
think
like some of the cardinal doctrines. So I
yeah,
think
and
that's like what you said is it's a bad look on David Wood.
yeah, I think he gets into later when in the dialogue where he starts to discuss this. But I'll be honest with you, in hindsight, now that I think about it after post debate, is that's David Wood's vulnerability right there. That's him actually sharing his true feelings. He's trying to be as honest as
Hmm.
possible. And I'll be honest with you, you know
Yes.
this too in the truth cartel and ministry, that I deal with people that wrestle with doubt. And a lot of times when they wrestle with doubt, they won't say, "Hey, I deny that God exists, that Christ is," but this is an area that I actually kick around and I go back to my skepticism in this form and in this way. And I think his background, he was showing a bit of that, because if we don't think
Hmm.
that somebody like David Wood or others, doubt their faith in any way, shape, or form, or even go back to say their old way of thinking or kick it around. So yeah, I think that in the end, him being vulnerable and open, and on one side it's good, but for his overall ministry and what he does, there I just don't see the benefit. I would agree with you that in the end it's a net negative, it's not a net positive. And
Yeah, I'm just saying that given what he's doing, okay,
right,
that's a perspective, right? So I don't expect a lay Christian to know about all of these things. Like, for
right,
example, I have questions on the papacy. You can
right.
also look at it as doubts, but uh, till I'm Catholic, I'll do my best to represent the Catholic beliefs the best way I can, right?
Right.
And give the Catholic justification.
Right.
I'm trying to learn more. So even I'm looking at this in terms of this is more like a faith claim than anything else for me. The papacy, for example. But at least I can try to give the I can't go deep into that because I don't know much about it. So I can't have a papacy debate, but I can express the Catholic opinion, like why we
Hmm.
believe uh, things about the Pope as opposed to say Protestants or Eastern Catholics or Eastern Orthodox, right?
Right.
So I'm saying that this is me being a lay person.
Right.
So I would just the advice I would give David Wood is that while I understand that from his paradigm, these questions may not be important, it's just that what he does puts some responsibilities on his shoulder, whether he likes it or not. I would
Amen.
put it that way.
Amen. So I think you and I, Neil, are both asking him, others around him, to take some of these things more seriously, even if he
Yes.
doesn't ultimately see it being playing a major role in his polemics or even in his articulation of the gospel, how deep he evangelizes. It's key for just the overall look or the overall responsibilities that a layperson or somebody like you and me would expect from a person who's been a Christian this long or has wants to go out and talk about Jesus being the truth rather than other religions, because that's what he's involved in. That we're asking him
Yes.
in love that even if this is not a topic he wants to get into, just like he's diving into Eastern Orthodoxy, to dive into his own faith to solidify where he might stand on something or at least know the landscape. Fair
Yes.
enough.
I will. Yeah, and I understand like David Wood not personally being invested in these topics, but another way to look at this is you're doing this out of charity for your fellow believers. Okay, so you may not be interested, but others uh, may find value in what opinions you share, especially like what you're doing. And a lot of people look up to him, like you said. He's
Yeah.
loved by everybody.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, like where he's situated, kinds of puts him in a difficult place where he may not want to get deep into all of this, but at least have some sort of an information or doctrinal knowledge so that you can, uh, out of charity, help others, maybe without even knowing that you're helping others. That's another way to look at it.
Yeah, amen. I think it's a call in love. I think that once again you've articulated it better than I could. I think we pray for him, but I think people will get word back to him if he doesn't watch this himself, and maybe consider that. But in the end, even if at best it's just stick to the conversations in your wheelhouse, to not even entertain somebody who might be a little bit slicker debater like Andrew Wilson. Um, you know, just put those things, take those things off the table, and and maybe like you say, dedicate some time to some of the people that he has in his circle to talk about these different topics and see how
Hmm.
people would approach. I think we could, his audience and Christendom in general would benefit just overall.
Yes, yes.
Amen.
That's about it, brother.
All right, my brother, I appreciate it. Catch you in the Discord. I think we got somebody else in the back, so I'll see you later. There he goes, my brother from another mother. All right, Jesus loves us. There you are, my brother. You wanted to chime in?
Yeah, hey man, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. How you doing, Mom?
Doing good, brother. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm good. Just wanted to give you a props, man. You're doing great, and yeah, I love watching your stuff.
Oh, amen. God bless you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah. I was listening to the conversation with Neil, and yeah, I love how charitable you guys were. Speaking kindly about it. I still wanted to give a slightly different, perspective. Um, I sort of understand what you guys were talking about in terms of, staying in your wheelhouse
Hmm.
and, being maybe a little bit more firm-footed in all these concepts.
Yeah.
But having listened to, DW's story, how he was in jail cell, arguing with someone who was a Christian, and due to his competitive nature, he just wanted to disprove the person. So he just got a Bible and started reading it, and that was how he got saved. He
Hmm.
had no idea that he was changing, just reading the Bible daily, and all of a sudden, his life changed. People started, referring to him as, the one Christian doing Joseph. So, um, I, I do agree. It's good to, wisdom doesn't have like a limit in any
Yeah.
discussion, but I sort of understand because he has mentioned so many times that he loves, you know, speaking firmly on a topic he has really, delved in. And I think he's very, very effective when it comes to, you know, bringing the word of God to, the Muslims and people like that. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think his strength is polemics. I think that is lack of knowledge or just position not on the gospel or basic Christianity, but on how these different things could matter, especially when you're doing polemics in a certain part of the world. Even though he's talking to Muslims all over the world, right, through his videos, there's a certain country where if the person walked out and said, "All right, well, Christianity is the religion," then which church or what are some of the basics? And the point
That's
is,
true.
he's never going to be the person that's going to do a video teaching that completely. I get it. But if you're going to have these dialogues, and this would be technically an interfaith dialogue because, Andrew Wilson is a Eastern Orthodox, or you're going to jump into the fight, then it would make sense with such confidence that you would be able to not only articulate your position, but even know their position. And I'm saying is, I don't think that David Wood has time to do that. He's trying to do it now, but if he doesn't have time to do it and he has a lot of studying to do, then just lay it aside because what we don't want to do is take, as another Christian YouTuber put it, that beloved image and tarnish it. And it's not because it's horrible, it's simply because it doesn't look good. And what I would say is that if you know that I'm not a quote unquote learned man, right? And if I can do a crash course on some of these things and hold my own, he's, smarter than me, at least, on paper, and he's dedicated himself. He's a doctor. I think he's master's in philosophy. I don't know what he got his doctorate in, but the point is he could do it. The question is in the end, whether he has time, whether it's important to him. And we're saying is it's now presented itself as important. Dedicate the time to do it, even if this EO thing stops after your debate. I don't think so. They have multiple debates. So this is going to push into 2027. So get with some people or get with people that you trust and believe in. Not only just people who believe a certain kind of Christianity, the solas or Calvinist or just, free will. Have a spectrum for him to be able to, kind of decide where he's at. And always in the end saying, this is what I believe. But as a Christian, I can't say that if you believe a different version of this particular doctrine, you're going to hell. That's it. We're saying is the situation has presented itself that this is important. Don't put it on the back burner, put it on the front. If you're going to have multiple debates. Now, if he was not debating at all, he wasn't going to talk to Jay Dyer, he's done with the EOs, then no, continue as is. Don't worry about it. Keep your position, figure it out later in life, I suppose. But I think it's now become, sort of important for his viewers because what you don't want to do is lose credibility. And some people can make that claim. Just like, in my conversation with Andrew Wilson, he lost all credibility when it comes to the topic of theology or what he even believes. He doesn't even know what his church believes. So he has no credibility when it came to that. I don't want people to see David Wood in that light. But that's my only point. Would you at least agree with that?
Oh yeah, that does make sense. And I very much agree with that. I do have 2 points.
Yeah, go ahead.
My first point is, I've listened to David, and he has a certain. So every time Andrew asks him, like certain questions, and then he just says, Jesus died for sins.
Mhm.
All those simple statements. I don't know about anyone else, but every time I hear it, it gives me goosebumps because it's very effective, just to me personally. And my point is, all these things like the five solas, all these concepts, they've been flushed out. And isn't there a certain threshold, like for someone, like for instance, what did the thief on the cross have to believe? There has to be, the Bible calls it the simplicity of the gospel, the simplicity that's in Christ.
Yeah.
So while I agree with you, right, that because he's dealing with these people and debating these people, he has to be, brushed up and spruced up on all these topics. But I still think that there's a place for people who have, like, especially these people like God Logic and all these people who are just ministering to the Muslims. If they have a certain threshold of the fact that Jesus, the Son of God, came to die for our sins, if you believe in what he has done, his work, of putting away your sins will come on you to be imputed to you. I
Yep.
believe that threshold is very satisfactory. I
No,
think
and I
that's
think
any.
it's important. I think your
Mhm.
point that you're making is the simplicity of the gospel, yes, needs to be taught and shared. And that's why my conversation with Andrew Wilson, which by the way, I'd never thought in a million years we were going to be able to, I thought he was going to run. And then when we had our conversation, we were able to open the Bible and I was talking about the gospel. Now, I agree with you. So your point is well taken. The simplicity of him not being complete theologian or Christian, theologian and going through all the deep part, that's fine. But if somebody were to press him in an open environment, he might want to have an answer to some of these important things. Is my pushback to that. But you're absolutely right. I can still defend the simplicity of the gospel, but understand that under this is possibly a deeper conversation of something that doesn't have to go all the way to the, craziest levels, but can still be semi-surface and get through. He seems to be at a place where, in certain areas, he's not even semi-surface. It's really, really shallow. And I'm saying is, I don't know if he's doing that because, he's trying to be, a little, just to be a little bit mysterious as to his knowledge or doesn't want to offend his friends who believe something different than he does. I just think he needs to brush up. It's a knowledge base. But you and I agree. The simplicity of the gospel, it's what saves us. What saved me. I'm sure it's what saved you. Um, so I got you there. What's that second point you wanted to make?
Thank you so much, brother. The second point is about I was the one who typed in the chat the offense defense thing.
Oh, okay,
And
okay, got you, brother. Yeah. So I
yeah,
don't know if this is a good time to comment, but remind me again. Did you say the best offense or the best defense is sometimes a better offense? Is that what you said?
yeah, sort of. I trying to remember how I put it, but I said the best. Yeah, I think the best defense is offense.
Yeah, gotcha.
So
So that would be more
that
polemics, right?
yes, but I still want to clarify. So I heard that from my dad. My dad was the one who said it.
Hmm.
Um, I, I don't believe in attacking without your bases all covered.
Okay.
So, but I do understand that. So, if I may just have a minute. So, I noticed, with all this wokery going around,
Hmm.
how it started, like with all the perversion out there. It started with a certain group being the
Hmm.
minority, pointing fingers at every other person, accusing them of what is it? All the phobics and
Yep.
all the nonsense. So there is even Satan, right? When you check his name in the Hebrew, it actually just means an accuser.
Yep.
So I think it's so effective. Like this thing of pointing fingers and accusing, it's so effective that even when it's done by people who are perverted, by someone who is the devil himself, who is the arbiter of immorality, I think it's so effective that people get so scared. See how much ground these people have taken, and anyone who uses it, they tend to gain a lot of ground. So my
Yep.
point is, because I have to ground it not based on what I'm observing, but I have to ground it based on scripture.
Yep.
So my point is, when you look at, for instance, Ephesians 6, the armor of God,
Hmm.
it starts out with the belt of truth, the breastplate of, so a lot of protective, the belt, the breastplate, the helmet, very
Right.
protective. But you don't stay there. You have to also use the sword, right? Which
Yep.
is, the word of God. And so my point, because that sentence has to be nuanced, because I don't believe you should go out there attacking without, you know, having yourself actually, girded in
Right.
armor. Like you have to be protected. So that was sort of the point I was making. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts,
no,
bro?
and I agree. I think that we agree. I don't think we disagree. It might have been me just misreading it, but that's also the appeal that we're making to David Wood. Is that your point? Is that in order for you to be able to attack, you also need to be girded. You see?
Got
So
it, got it.
you brought that together. But let me make this point that I was holding off is that in my opinion, overall Christians, not focused doctor, degreed, really, really high thinkers or people that are, really educated and dedicated their life to apologetics and education. David Wood is one of those guys, right? But I'm talking
Mm-hmm,
about the average person. The best polemics
mm-hmm,
is so the best way for you to be able to pull apart other beliefs that obviously in the end the Christian worldview is the only one that's coherent and survives, is to know your faith. The more you know your faith, the more it's impervious to any criticism coming from wherever it's coming from, because you're trying to attack something that's so foundational, that's so coherent, that really explains anything that can be sourced as logical, reasonable in this world. In other words, I say that there's reasons why people become Christians, but the number one reason that I was convinced that Christianity is true is because it perfectly describes the human condition. And because I see that evident everywhere, and then I see the answer, the God of this universe calling us in love, because he has the answer to this condition. And nothing else convinced me. No religion does that. And so that's one of the compelling arguments. So I would agree with you, and I think you made a great argument to appeal to our brother David Wood. And then also I would just say, if you're a Christian like you and me, might not be in that category. I would say if we're together like we do in the Truth Cartel, is I'm going to, yes, we're going to talk about argumentation and how to formulate an argument and make an argument, sure. But I'm going to say is you got to get really, really good about knowing your faith. And if you can do that to a certain level, then advancements into discussions and debates can happen. If the Lord wills, he'll open that door naturally, and then that would be your contribution. But most people, you know what? It's not it. They need to know their faith so that they can live it out, be good disciples, and then they can testify to the goodness of the Lord, not as a preacher on the corner all the time, even though you do evangelize, but it's in how you live it out. How you your circumstance plays out in front of other people, and that's sometimes the more powerful testimony to unbelievers, right? So, but I'll give you the last word, because I think that, like I said, we agreed on mostly everything here.
All right, thank you so much for this opportunity, man. And we agreed. That was well said. The last point, something came to my mind while you were talking. So you're right. As Christians, we're supposed to focus on Jesus, right? And just read our Bibles and just enjoy the beauties of our gospel.
Amen.
Yeah, so that is true. But something that also came into my mind was I was reading Acts, I think last month, and I remember the Apostle Paul. He went around, right, like on his missionary journey. So I remember him going to a place called the Areopagus. I think the remnants of that place is still present today.
Yep.
And I was fascinated by the fact that he would stand there for hours. I think that was a place of philosophers or whatever. And they would stand there for hours, and they were debating, and he was trying to prove, that the God that he's preaching to them is the true God and all that. So, I completely agree with you. We have to focus on Jesus. Our eyes have to be. We should not go attacking the devil. We should ignore him. And but that also came into my mind where those who are evangelizing, those who are evangelizing, don't be afraid to hit back, to attack, because you have the truth. When you've been girded, don't be afraid to attack back. Thank you so much. Brother.
Build that confidence, my brother. We agree. All right. Appreciate you coming up, my brother. All right. So you heard it here first. I'm not going to go too far into how that works, but this pivot that we're about to make starting tomorrow as we premiere the first lesson in Full Armor. But I'm going to say that the Lord has impressed upon me, pressed upon the Truth Cartel, upon my wife, who's the real boss and who makes this this thing go, that we're about to come to a place where we're walking out in faith. It takes lots of time for me to spend putting this stuff together, but I've been talking about it for years, so I believe that the Lord has sort of in this way twisted my arm and is like, all right, put up or shut up, buddy. Do you have faith? And let's see if you got faith. And man, can I tell you, some of you guys in the Discord, you have seen us, the Truth Cartel, me and my wife go through the ringer where faith, we're just literally running on E. If you ever heard my testimony before, one of the greatest miracles of my life is that when I was at the lowest in absolute desperation, the Lord showed up and spoke to me. And I've never, ever, prior to that or since that, have heard his voice. But I did. And it blew my mind, and my faith grew. But guess what? As human fallible as I am, I fell right back into doubting. How is he going to do it this time? Oh, what is he going to do to provide? How are we going to make it? What is God going to do next? As though what? Like can I make a suggestion, Lord? So here we are. We're at the place where I'm going to place my foot forward, but it is intense work. And until I can lighten the load and figure out how to do this, I asked you to click on the Cash App or type that in. And if you want to donate to fund future lessons, then just type in lessons if you give to the Cash App. As you can see, we're not partnered officially with YouTube yet, trying to get all that worked out. But for now, go to Cash App, pull up to the Discord. You can be a part of Patreon. But give and just put towards Full Armor or the next lesson. And that will show me how serious we want to get. So be prepared tomorrow. I hope that you're blessed, impressed, that what we're trying to do is something different, but we want you to be able to offer these videos and point them to a place where they can build the foundation. Catholic, Orthodox, Protestant, the foundations, the essentials is what they need to know. And all of us can agree on that. At least I hope you can. So that's the mission. Pray for me, pray for my wife, pray for the Truth Cartel family. Pray that we continue to be pleasing to the Lord and produce things that please the Father by the power of the Spirit, as the Lord Jesus has taught us to do such things for his kingdom and his righteousness. But hey, the world is crazy, and as I always tell you, it doesn't matter what tomorrow brings. You know I will serve the King.
The Truth Cartel. Trafficking truth to the world.